Oh, man. We're doing this.
We are. Aren't you going to do your typical, hi guys, it's Mag, except for you'd say,
It's Lost.
It's Lost.
And Mag, that's how you say it.
That's what marriage is.
Yeah, that's exactly what marriage is, you guys. Good night, everybody. No, but really, we're here. It's our 5-year. We're recording this after the anniversary, too, because
we actually spent time with each other on our anniversary.
Yeah, right. Really a wonderful concept that I should have just been doing in the first place. But, what are you going to do?
I mean, that's actually a very big milestone for us. We forget way too much. I mean, I think for our we've been together for 10 years anniversary, you weren't even here.
No.
She was over at my sister's house.
I went over to her sister's house to watch her play Silent Hill 2 remake. That was my priority.
And it wasn't until I want to say 2 days later.
Yeah, it was 2 days later.
I went, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a thing.
Our 10-year anniversary went by. But yeah, that's, wild concept. But yeah, we're here to answer your guys' questions.
Whee!
Because we used to do this a lot on LostExtras, and I thought, why not do it over here for the 5 years? So let's begin.
Adam Fields 6714 asks, how are you guys doing? We're doing.
We're doing. I would say it feels... I'm surviving, and that's good enough right now. It's not about thriving right now. It's about surviving.
No, I would say I'm one step above surviving. I think you're still, still, because we have been dealing with a lot of things in the real world that,
It's, the biggest one, because I know some of you saw the community post, but I know a lot of you may not have seen it. My cat, Peanut, passed away. She passed away on January 12th, and I'm still dealing with that. I'm still, I had her for 15 years, and
I whipped the calculator out when she was so confused about why she was so upset, and I was like, she's been in your life for more than 40% of your life, and that is a huge deal considering the first 5 years don't count. For real, that cat, I was her mom for about 7 years, and... I miss her. I miss her every day, and I don't want to get emotional. This is not the emotional we want to get.
This is not the emotional, but like I said, I'm surviving. This is not about it's like people are like thrive, bitch. Yes, now a bitch is surviving. That's what I'm doing. Okay, that is literally what I'm doing right now. But I'm definitely having more better days than not. I would at least say that in terms of because depression and to be honest, I've never really grieved like this before. I've never felt grief to this level, and it's just...
But shout out to our good friends and family who have done nothing but help support us. We're very blessed and very lucky to have the people in our lives that we do.
Yeah. Ghostia1 asks, how did you two meet and when did you fall for each other?
We've spoken about this before, so we'll just kind of briefly touch on it because...
This is the Cliff Notes.
This is the Cliff Notes. Cliff Notes is... We were both content creators in the My Little Pony fandom. I met Scribbler, who is another pony content creator, who is still doing pony content, which, yay.
Well, it's Scribbler. She's like our best friend. Whatever.
She is.
She's one of our best friends.
And through her, I met Lost. Lost came to me for some advice, actually. Mm-hmm. She came to me...
Well, no, that was after.
Was that after?
That was after.
Okay, well, you came to me to be Pinkie to die in a fic for you.
Yeah.
That's really what it...
Because you want to know, at that point, there weren't a lot of VAs that wanted to do grimdark crap, okay? Not like now where, I'm seeing tons of VAs being like, yes, let's kill the ponies. And I'm just like, where the hell were you guys 10 years ago? Because that was not the case back then. So like I said, I was doing Butterflies, which is that Fluttershy story that it's kind of like Fluttershy's Cupcakes, and she kills Pinkie in it. And I needed a Pinkie Pie VA, and Scribbler was like, oh, why don't you ask Magpie Pony? And I was like, who? At first, because I was like, who? And I went and checked out your channel, and you had PTS. You had Princess Trixie Sparkle, and I sat there, and I was like, oh, this is intimidation. Shit. But yeah, that's how we met. And I would say, when did we fall for each other?
Wasn't it when I was in the hospital?
Yeah.
When I was having problems, I went to the hospital and
Yeah, no, you were in the hospital.
and you had guests visiting you from overseas.
Yeah.
But you told me later, because I'd call you from there all the time, and you're like, if I didn't have these people over, I would be driving or flying over to see
Like,
you.
you were 10 hours away, and I was ready to fucking pack up my car, like, after they left and go drive to you to go make sure that you were okay. Because I was worried about you. I was.
All right, what was mine?
Oh, wasn't it the time I got drunk in the UK? And I think I was giving Anna Chloe M, who was 17, turning 18. I think her birthday was like next month or something.
You were giving her advice.
And I was giving, because in the UK you can drink at 18. And
Yeah, she wasn't actually drinking.
No.
You were giving her advice.
It was me, Scribbler, her then boyfriend, and it's Anna Chloe M. And the reason why we were there is I think it was for CamCom. We were there for a convention. I was visiting from the United States to go see my friends in the UK. Scribbler recorded it because of course she did. And
so once again, Scribbler was a bro,
Yeah.
right? And I saw you for the first time, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Yes, please, I'll take that.
I was so drunk and stupid, and because I was telling Anna that what is it called? That thing where it's like beer before liquor, you've never been sicker. Liquor before beer, you're in the clear. That's your, like if you're gonna go drinking, like when you're 20, when you're of age, please do not do this if you're not of age. That's not the point. But like, be responsible. You don't want to wake up with a hangover and stuff like that. You don't want that.
DJ Foxy Gaming 8203 asks, what made y'all want to date? Was it love at first sight or was it a connection? So technically mine's love at first sight, right?
Yeah, I guess you would say it was love at first sight. For me,
not that you saw me, but I saw your video.
Yeah, you saw my video of me just being dumb, and I think I was complaining about like their food there too because that restaurant was crap. Anyways, but I just, you were a ball of fun and creativity, and it was so attractive to me.
I swear I thought you were gonna say a ball of fun and crazy.
No, I mean that's true too, but no, like because you were doing all kinds of stuff over on your channel, and I was just like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But you were just so fun. I remember I'd be on calls with you in the beginning, like even, I would say that first year of like really knowing you and when we started dating and everything, you were just so much fun. You just knew how to cheer me up. You knew how to lift my spirits when I was feeling like crap.
Aw.
I can't say that name. Invocation.
You're welcome.
You're getting a blooper when I start reading off your guys' names. That's totally how this is going to work. Anyways, but their questions are there any habits, mannerisms, or phrases that you may have gotten from each other after being together for so long? And 2, if you both ran into clones of the other, how would you accurately guess who the real LostMag is and who isn't?
Those are fun.
Yeah, right? Those are both...
That's fun.
Those are good questions.
Yeah.
We love good questions here.
Go in order. Habits, mannerisms.
I would say a habit or mannerism that I picked up from you is me having to have stim toys. Because I realized as I've gotten older, I bite my nails, I pick at them, and that's not okay. Like, I don't want to do that because sometimes it'll hurt. But because of Mag, she's got, squish balls, all kinds of little fucking toys.
Every room of every house. And what's funny and wonderful is the cats aren't interested in them.
Oh, no.
But
no.
Yes, we have a little thing that has toys in it. When friends come over, they know they can grab something.
Oh yeah, and we've got all kinds too. Like I've got cubes that kind of fold into themselves. I don't know what those are called. I think infinity cubes.
I think
that's what they're called. We've got fidget spinners too. We've got those, but I've got cooler looking ones. I've got one that is like a Batman symbol.
And honestly, we use them till they break.
Yeah, we do. We use them till they break. I've got actually funny story is that one of them is actually a fidget ring ring. It's a spinner ring that I have that I wear, but like it's my covert fidget toy. Cause like, I'm gonna be in environments where I shouldn't be fiddling with my hands like that. I can't do that. So I'll have a fidget ring instead. And that's a really nice way for me to like keep me from picking my nails off.
Well, what habits or mannerisms have I picked up from you?
You're better with your technology now. You take care of it better.
Well.
No, you do, because you don't break crap anymore.
That's true.
I'm serious. Like, because I remember when I was not living with you, when we were still living in two separate states, you broke a laptop. You broke your laptop, or your hard drive died, your laptop died. And then
actually, I would say technology in general, because you also upgraded me to like a PC and then like multiple screens.
Mag, if it wasn't for me, Mag would still be editing her videos on Windows Movie Maker with her laptop, her dinky laptop, and a Welcome tablet, which, I mean, that's valid. If that's all you got, I mean, that's how Mag started, okay?
It's true.
It's valid.
For a long time. But
like, for the crazy things that she wanted to start doing, I was like, no, what are you doing? It's taking like 10 hours to render something. Come on. Like, it was stuff like that. And then for
clones.
How do we know if the other is a clone?
I would have to say one word and I'd know. One.
What is it?
Hey.
Oh, my man.
That's damn right.
You need to explain what that's from.
So, I think the origins, and you can correct me.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
You were really emotional about something, okay? Not angry, emotional.
I was talking about the reference.
No, I know, I'm getting to it.
Oh my God.
Listen to me. She was super emotional about something. And then I think she was trying to get my attention and she said, hey. And what you need to understand about me is that at every given point of my life, unless I am super depressed, there's songs playing in my mind. And all she had to do was say, hey, and I immediately started singing You're Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile. So I went, hobo man. And she looked at me like I was just the most insane person. And I had to go, have you never heard that song? Did you never watch Annie?
No.
And so I clued her in and I was like, there's a second one. It's, hey.
Hobo man.
Hey.
Dapper Dan.
Exactly. And then a little bit later, the same thing would happen for so.
Senator.
And so.
Janitor.
Thank you. So one word and I would know which one, because one of them would be probably like, hey, and the other one, hobo man, would be like, that's my girl.
Oh, good
What about
Lord.
you? How would you know?
See, it's similar, but it's not that. So Mag and I have a little mantra between the two of us where I can look at her and say, always.
Protect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or love.
Always.
Protect.
Yep. It's one of the two.
It's one of the two.
Why do we do anything that we do?
Yeah, why do we do anything we do? But it's just, it became a little thing, and I know if I said that, you would immediately react.
I feel like those are our core 3 beliefs for each other. That we will love, that we're always, like we will always be, and that we protect each other. And I think it just turned into something. Yeah, you're right. If you'd said any of those words, I'd fire the other one back at you.
Fire it back at me.
Danny NWRE2 asks, when you two aren't working on fanfic readings, what do you do? Okay, you have to explain why this is funny. You have to explain why this is funny.
Lost! What do you do when you're not editing Grimdark fanfic readings? That was an ongoing joke on the channel for years.
Oh, not just the channel.
Like in life.
Anytime you were doing something super obscure or hilarious, you would be like, so Lost, what do you do when you're not editing Grimdarks? And it was just something we'd walk around the house and say to each other when we're doing...
So I have my side channel, TheLostExtras, and I would go stream over there. And I wasn't streaming horror stuff. No, we were doing Stardew. We were doing...
Some of it was horror.
Well, yeah, no,
that
but those...
FNAF video.
Well, no, but that was pre-recorded. I'm talking about the live streams. Like, that's where that kind of started coming up, because don't get me wrong, I love the content I make over here, but like, I'm more than just killing ponies, you guys. Like, it's more than just that.
Right.
That's why, like, that just became a joke. Or like when I'm doing bloopers, like it was originally, I think the biggest way it came out was in the bloopers. I think I said it at one point.
Did you?
Yeah.
See, I don't even remember. It's just kind of become a staple. It's become a staple.
Yeah. Like, what do you do when you're not eating Rickles? And I'm just like,
the answer is everything else.
Everything else. Literally everything else, you guys.
I mean...
Well, okay, so simple answer to this, if you meant this verbatim, what am I doing when I'm not working on fanfic readings? I'm working on all the other content that
you
I
have
produce.
Narco Pizza Party with Goody, which is a gaming channel.
Go subscribe.
You do vlogs now from time to time.
Over on LostExtras. Go subscribe there too.
We're going to be getting bloopers going again.
Yep.
Because obviously we have our new hairstyles. So we gotta use them, right? Thank you, Stingalek.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're doing...
We're both like...
But I think what they meant is outside, like, content creation, what do we do? You, technically, the actual answer to that is you work on your own channel.
That's true.
That is actually the answer to that.
That's true. You love to cook.
Yes, actually I do.
She's really good. Neither of us, I would say, grew up in households where we were, like, taught step by step how to cook things, and so as adults we kind of had to rely on the internet and our own wits.
One of my favorite things to do is go down the deep hole of like moms at home making YouTube videos of recipes. And,
yes.
And it's so wholesome. It's so wholesome.
It is.
But a lot of the times too, from those, I'm finding all kinds of recipes to cook at home.
But then you make them your own.
Yeah, I do. I make them my own. I twist them a little bit and add things or take out things.
For the people who don't know, a lot of it is because we have dietary restrictions. We didn't find out until
later in life,
as in like within 3 years, that you have a dairy allergy. It's not lactose intolerance, because we've already done the lactose pills and stuff. It's not that.
Well, it might be. We're
severe then.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I can't have dairy.
And then I can't have gluten, which is wheat. And if you really think about it, if you ever had to actually look at what we're buying from the store, there is dairy and wheat in everything. Like just everything. So you had to learn to cook, because it's like, well, I miss chicken nuggets. I miss, you miss like a good creamy soup.
It's not even that. I just figured out how to make a baked potato soup with like milk substitutes. So now my brain's like, okay, how do we upgrade this bitch to clam chowder? Because you know how long it's been since I've had a good clam chowder, and I'm just like, because it's cream. You just tons of cream in it.
Dude, do you want to know the weirdest little like factoid about milk? Wendy's fries, Burger King's fries, every other fries, dairy free. McDonald's fries has milk.
Yep.
Riddle me that.
They have milk.
Why?
I don't know.
That is so unnecessary.
That's why they taste better. That's exactly why they
you're married to me, not the toilet, okay? So.
Other things we do outside of it, I right now I'm currently no-lifing Skyrim. That's what I call when I play a game a lot. So, because I like playing modded games. So I modded Skyrim to Into the Ground, and now I'm playing that.
I consume a lot of YouTube, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say you're...
And like phone games.
Well, no, you're playing Core Keeper. You've been playing...
I got so far in Core Keeper.
Yeah, she's almost done, you guys. Like, what the hell?
Last boss. But yeah, like...
We hang out with our friends now.
We do.
I was going to say, we currently...
Not recently, because we've been so sad, but typically we do.
We have, like, watch nights with our friends. We're currently watching Buffy, the Vampire Slayer. We're on the last season. So there's that. And we spend time with our family. You know, I don't know. I don't. This feels like a normie answer. I don't know.
I was just about to be like such a I was gonna say normie. Get out of my head.
Right? The great and powerful Boo. I love it. Love your name. How would you say being married has changed you for better / worse? Ooh.
I like that one a lot.
I do like that one.
Like, the thing is about marriage, you as a person change with the marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Who I am with you today versus who I was when we first, I'd even say moved in together, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's sort of...
Well, yeah, because when we moved in, it was like our dynamic really did change, and there were some growing pains. We had to really, like, understand that my rhythm was different to your rhythm. You had different things in mind of how...
It's okay to say it. I am chaos.
You are chaos.
I am.
But it's okay, though, because, like, that's how relationships are supposed to work. You're supposed to be the compromising, the give and the take. And it's the idea that I knew, like, I know I'm uptight. Like, I know I'm uptight about certain things. But at the same time...
I would just say you're particular. I wouldn't say you're uptight. Okay,
I'm trying to honor what old you would tell me because...
See, but I'm not old me.
No, I know, but old you did have a point because there were points within the beginning of our relationship where I was neurotic. I was so neurotic about, like, I can't have this in a certain room, or we can't do this here, or what do you mean this has to be this way? Like, my brain was so stringent with things.
You, like, for example, you don't like certain kinds of light.
Yeah.
Like, certain light bulbs hurt your head, you gives you headaches.
Yep.
After a period of time, like, you prefer floor lamps or side lamps.
Things that don't hurt my eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, fair. Totally fair.
I think I said once if I could make the flooring, you know, like how when you go into a movie theater, it has all the lights on the floor? If I could put all the lights there, that's where they'd be. Not on the ceiling.
See, and when you leave on trips without me, every light in this house is on because I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's so bright.
It's so bright. No, but in a general sense, I think we've only ever changed for the better.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a change for the worse. And frankly, if there was, I would be concerned because at that point it feels like I'm not honoring my marriage and I'm not...
It's what I've always looked at what marriage is supposed to be. It's the idea that you're helping build that other person up to be a better version of themselves. And it's the idea that you know that other person is flawed and isn't perfect, but you see those shining perfections within them. And it's the mix of the two that you learn to accept and you watch them grow. And I've seen you evolve these last 10 years, and I'm so proud of where you're at now. I mean that. The woman you are now is remarkable. And you're still understanding, you're still compassionate, you're still all of those other things, but there's a maturity now that I love.
Oh.
That was gay.
No, that was sweet. I can tell, because you guys can't see, but I could tell the way she was looking at me. She's like, don't get emotional, don't get emotional.
No, we're not, no.
There will be tears at some point.
There will be tears at some point, whatever. This is my channel, I can cry if I want.
No, I would have to kind of turn that back on yourself. I think you went your whole life believing certain things, and through marriage, the bad beliefs that you were brought up to believe were true have been challenged.
Oh, yeah.
And built into something better, I would say.
There's a motto that you always tell me. It's the idea that you think that two people can make a marriage work.
Yes.
And I grew up in an environment, like, both of my parents are divorced, and they were like the epitome of, they're the reason why I never wanted to get into relationships. They're the reason why, because I just saw how chaotic and just horrible it was. And I made a promise to myself, I think, like, even when I was a teenager, I was like, I'm not getting married. I'm never getting married. I'm never going to get married because marriage ruins the relationship. That's what I truly believed. And now that I've been with you for 5 years.
Well, married for 5.
I've been married for...
With me for more than 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been together for 10 years and we got married at 5 years.
Scootaloo157 asks, best laughter moments. Well, what's a laughter moment?
I have one.
Oh, what is it?
I've got one, and it always makes me giggle because of just how absurd and just funny it was.
Tell me.
So, where we live, there's an ice cream parlor that's open late.
Oh no!
No, shut up. You know exactly this question or the story. So, we were out. One of my friends was visiting from out of town, and I think it was me, you, our friend, and then
my sister.
Lexi.
Yeah,
Lexi. And we had gone out late, because whatever. We were just out having fun. And I think you were...
So, disclaimer.
Did the biggest disclaimer.
I am diagnosed bipolar.
Yes.
I'm bipolar type 2. I'm on medication. That's all legit.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Going into this,
you were definitely on a high. You were definitely having a good one.
Oh, yeah.
And a bipolar natural high. And you wouldn't sit still. And in the front of the ice cream parlor, there were these claw machines. And one of them was like pennies, like you could use nickels. And I gave you $5. And I swear to God, it was like I had just given you the whole candy store. And you got up and you ran over and you dragged Lexi with you. And I did. And I sat there in the booth with my friend. And you were giggling. People were staring at you legitimately.
I had no idea.
But the funniest part was that it was late night. And I think it was some high school's winter formal or homecoming or some shit like that, because a bunch of teenagers came walking in and dressed up and everything, and you squealed like so loud.
I won so much.
Yeah, you did. She had a grocery bag full of shit when she came back.
I did. I won so much.
But they all stared at you, and my friend turned to me and she was all like, that's your girlfriend. I'm like, I know. And I love her, but that's my girlfriend. Because we hadn't gotten married or we weren't engaged yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I vaguely remember coming back, sitting at the thing, showing you my grocery bag, which, by the way, the restaurateurs gave me the bag.
Because I was using my shirt. She was using her shirt to hold everything.
And came to sit next to you. And I'm so excitedly showing you every single little toy.
There was like these little cheap like parachute guys in there too.
Listen, I was having a ball.
Yeah, you were having a ball with it.
And eventually you said, did you know a bunch of teenagers were like watching you, making fun of you or whatever? And I was like, well, they don't have these toys, so
it was a bunch of toys and candy too. Like it was just like a bunch of
so great
shit.
I loved it.
Citrose Future 66 asks, I remember watching the announcement video of the proposal. Did it go through some revision before what we saw on the channel? Or was it just one of these things that was just perfect from its inception?
I can't answer that.
Yeah, you can't answer that. That's all me. So, a little story. On my channel, our actual proposal is on here. It's buried under all the other videos. The card, whatever. Click it in the corner.
It's called She Said Yes.
Yeah, She Said Yes. But I proposed to Mag with plushies. I tricked her into thinking we were doing a fan unboxing video, and what in reality she was actually opening up 2 custom plushies I had made. But the reason why it even became a thing was because like this is the other thing too, there would have been another version of this if I hadn't gone with this idea, because at one point after I had realized that I did want to propose to you, I was thinking, I'll just propose to you in front of the castle at Disneyland. And then my best friend Nat, who became your maid of honor.
She did, yes.
Looked at me and said, you are not basic, okay? You are not basic for that. You really want to make that the way you propose? And I was like, when I actually thought about it, no, I didn't. But the reason why it even became a thing was because when we first started dating, we got Build-A-Bear plushies. I think it was one of our first dates too when I came and visited you.
I would say it was probably the first date in person. I dragged her to the mall and they had the My Little Ponies at Build-A-Bear, so at the time we were more known for being Pinkie and Rainbow Dash, and so we bought and stuffed. I bought stuffed the Pinkie. You bought and stuffed the Rainbow Dash.
And we bought voice chips that we
so
could...
I spoke as Pinkie, you spoke as Rainbow, and then we gave them to each other so that when you left to go back home, we'd still have a piece of each other with us. So yeah, that was such a beautiful callback to that. And I was thrown so off guard. The little fun tidbit though is immediately after recording that, she went to bed. Like immediately. Like no cute, let's kiss and cuddle and no. It was, Mag, I have had so much buildup of anxiety about this.
Well, I had gone 3 days of not sleeping because the plushie maker poked me and said, oh, I shipped it off, and I had to wait 3 days for it to show up, and I didn't sleep.
I want to say from the moment the camera stopped rolling to you being asleep was about 30 minutes.
Not even
tops.
that. Not even that.
And then you slept for like a good, I want to say 12 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, you were
I was out. I finally crashed because I was so anxiety riddled. I was so nervous.
And then there's me like showing pictures of the ring to everyone I know and then being like, well, we want to, congratulate Lost too. And I'm like, well,
she's sleeping.
She's not available. But look at how pretty.
Yep. I crashed.
Parthexis.
Yes.
Parthexis. Parthexis.
Okay, we're just gonna... Well, wait, if it's like an X...
Parthex.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
If
you asks, if you both had a theme song, what would it be? And what would your couple song be? Not counting reversion. Oh, well, they just took out the biggest. Actually, so we talked about this like not even that long ago. Like reversion came on or something in your playlist. And I was like, wow, I haven't heard this in a minute. I don't know if this represents our relationship anymore. I feel like that was the early years.
Those are the early years, I would say. Those are definitely the early years.
And then we both kind of combed over, because we have very different taste in music when we came into this relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of it has meshed now.
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is meshed.
But you don't really like as much of my music.
No.
But there was one song that we've been listening to a lot lately that I would say is...
Oh, no, you found it. And it's so beautiful.
It's called Symphony. I have no idea who the artist is. I'm sure when this goes up...
Clean Bandit, I think, is who sings it? Or is the DJ who does... Whatever. I don't know.
Image on screen.
Image on screen. That's it. That. We clearly can't play it here because YouTube.
I would say that is so very true.
Yeah.
Especially because, like I said earlier, it ties back to what I said earlier. There's always music playing in my head.
Yeah.
And with you, that music turned from a solo into a symphony.
Yeah. No, it really did. I would say that. I would say that that's our song now. Like, I feel like we've gone through, like, because we had Reversion, and then I covered Against the World, and that kind of became our little anthem for a while there. Because,
and then at the beginning from Anastasia.
Yep. Which was literally the wedding. And now I would say it's Symphony. Yeah. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Oh, good luck.
Ooh.
You're the one who insisted on reading the names. Have fun.
John Calix Markle P whatever 5466.
That was horrible. That was absolutely horrible.
This wonderful person's name here asks, what is your opinions and feelings about all the time together, making videos, stories, etc.? I mean, I think it's more of the idea we collab a lot. We collab a lot.
So much so that, like, we have moments where we're like, I need to make something that doesn't have you in it.
Yeah,
like,
actually, we've had moments like that lately where I'm just like, yeah.
But I think one of the most important things to say, specifically in this question, is that there's highs and there's lows.
Oh, yeah.
We still butt heads. It comes as no surprise to anyone that I'm a Leo and that I want things done a certain way, and
I'm a Cancer.
So you typically go along with it, but at the same time, you have your own vision, you have your own voice. And there have been a lot of trials and tribulations. And ironically, the most well-received content that we come out with was probably some of the most tumultuous I'm glad that we picked the same word.
Oh,
Neither of us can say it.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But it's not in a way that's a detriment to our relationship. I'd say it's growing pains.
It's growing pains and learning to understand that when it comes to the creative process, it's going to get messy no matter what you do. But that's the beauty of art. That's why I like creating these types of videos with with so much help and all that. Like, it's a challenge, but I like that we can rise to that occasion. Like, I love, like, there is so much, like, it's amazing to see the stuff we make.
I make the comment all the time that I don't think I could be as good of a writer without you challenging me behind the scenes to really push the writing forward. You're very good at taking my first and raw draft and saying, why is the character this way? This doesn't quite make sense for this character.
I'm probably your main editor.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
When I get the chance and when I, because
I would say the only exception, the only one, was the first 3 parts of Another Apple Sleep Experiment.
Yeah.
You did dabble a little bit in the end because you were like, let me help you kind of tie it all up.
Well, it was also we'll get into that for the podcast.
Yeah.
But like, it was, I was helping with the writing process, I would say towards the end of Apple Sleep 4.
But other than that...
Apple Sleep 4. Whatever. You know what I mean?
All the apples in the world, okay?
You're right.
Everything on the channel now is apples.
Don't tell them my secret of the algorithm.
I'd say I wouldn't change most of it.
No, I wouldn't change most of it.
Most of it.
There are some parts when I look back and I'm just like, I feel like we're blessed in the sense that there are a lot of couples that can't do what we do. I have seen that happen so many times where when they go and try to do something creative, it is just a mess and it ends in horrific things.
Well, a lot of it's too, don't step on my toes.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing for the both of us when it comes to like making all the content that we do together, especially as we've gotten older, it's the idea of knowing the other person's boundaries and at the same time gently challenging it. That's the other thing that I feel is really, because you've really challenged me as a content creator, because before it was, the formula was trying to do fanfics. And it was just that and some bloopers. And now with you really helping me out on my channel, I've been able to elevate things to another level that I feel like would have never been able to be reached on LostNarrator.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's
and you are also the backbone to a lot of the comedy on my channel.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely say Ask Ponies is a collaborative effort. Yes, I'm the one who writes it. I put the words to the
but
page,
guess who's sitting in on those writing sessions though?
Yeah, right. Like, she's my spring off.
Yeah,
or
I feel like I'm kind of your springboard.
Yeah,
but then at the same time too, you're also like, you brought a whole other level to the productions that I could make, especially when it came to your writing. Like, I know Immortal Affliction wouldn't be nearly as good if it wasn't for the level of detail that you have with your writing. Like, she's got a freaking outline, you guys, of like what the key events are that have not even appeared yet. Like, it is that level of detail.
Oh yeah. Bunny Burst asks, do y'all ever write stories about each other / your relationship as fun little gifs? Yes. The short answer is yes. Do they ever see the light of day?
No.
Listen, it doesn't matter how good or bad of a writer as you are, there are some stories that don't ever need to...
No, they can just stay between you and maybe like 2 people.
Ready? 1, you, 2, me. Done.
Done. That's it. No, I would say you wrote Apple Sleep as like a love letter. You've already...
I did, yes.
And I would say too, like, I don't know, I'm always reading your stories. Like, I feel like I'm not necessarily...
But you're not just a reader in this instance. You also write with me.
Yeah, but I don't share it.
And that's, I mean, no offense, but that's valid.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
you guys see the best. The best off of out of everything I do, that's it. That's all I want to show.
That's all you get.
That's all you get. But no, we write little stories to each other.
And I think it's because it's a really nice way for us to be able to process certain things.
Oh, yeah.
We both have a lot of trauma in our past, and being creative is always how we've been able to express it.
Oh, yeah. Our creativity is definitely one of the ways that we've learned to, like, unpack and deal with those types of things. Now, do I suggest that for everybody? No. Don't. No.
Well, writing it out's not bad, but turning it into something to be consumed by other people, that's when you might run into some
problems.
Like, it's easier to process certain information through a creative means, but that doesn't mean you need to show anybody.
Yeah. It's like, that's why I like seeing like littler things like that, like with little groups like D&D stuff, because I hear about that. Like, people do use that as a way for certain therapy things, and that's cool. Like, that's good for them. But I know for myself personally, yeah, Mag and I write each other little things all the time. Do we share them? No. Axolotl questions. What's your favorite thing about yourselves and each other?
Oh, I have to compliment myself?
I know.
Oh, well, I don't know if I can do that.
There's a whole thing about self-compassion. That's been my motto, or one of my phrases this year, is self-compassion.
Who?
Right?
Who dat?
Who dat? Who's that? We don't know.
I think I can list a million favorite things about you. Well, are we talking physical, or are we talking... Wait. There's two different tiers here.
That's not for this. This is for the YouTube.
No. When I say physical, I mean like I love your eyes. Okay.
Oh, see, but no, I already know if we were gonna go that route, I already am gonna, like, we would get instantly demonetized, you guys. So no, we're not talking about physical.
Well, I like her eyes, guys. Okay.
I'm demonetization here. You already know. Anyways.
Oh my gosh. All right, what's your favorite non-physical thing about me then?
You're seriously, your compassion is endless the way I see it. Like, you can look at somebody and really like see what they're going through. And I know that's why you've lately, like, or you sometimes have moments where it's like it has issues. Like you have that duality because you're like, damn it, I really don't want to feel bad for this person, but I can't help it.
I would love to hate. So much of me wishes I could truly hate, and I can't.
Yeah, you just can't.
I can't.
No, and I just you're also one of the you're probably one of the funniest people I know. I can honestly say that because, like, I swear to God, you guys, there are times where I'll be so depressed and I'll just be like, I can't cope with shit in this world, and you'll look at me and say something so absurd, so left field, that I just am like, yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts.
I know, and
not all of them get filtered.
No, they don't. They really don't. Thank God for like the process of editing.
I mean, I mess up with cursing around my family more than you do.
Yeah, you do. Even though I'm literally known for all the curses and everything.
It's bad.
Like, because obviously since they're LDS, they're not necessarily a fan of cursing. Plus there's kids around, you know, it's about being respectful. But like, I don't mess up in front of her parents. Like, I very rarely do.
See, but every time I do, I get so freaked out that I'm gonna offend them. My dad laughs.
Oh yeah, he laughs
his ass off. And I'm always like, I want to laugh, but I'm just so embarrassed. And I'm so like, I'm sorry, Mom.
Like, it's pretty bad.
Favorite thing about you that's non-physical? I will defend this until the cows come home. You are the most resilient person I have ever met. For some reason, some cosmic reason, the world can throw some of the worst stuff at you. Some of the hardest things to get through, and you still get through it. I mean, the most recent example being the loss of Peanut.
Yeah.
I want to peek behind the curtain a little bit and say that the same week that Peanut passed, Goody came to visit us for a whole week.
And it had been pre-planned, like,
it was
several months in advance.
Okay? And those two chuckle fucks were able to record 19 game footage videos for their channel. And that blew my mind. That blew my mind, because you have to be personable and fun and engaging. You can't obviously be so depressed about the loss of your fur baby.
Oh yeah, and I don't want people to think too that I wasn't like.
Oh no, as soon as he was gone, it all came crashing.
Yeah, it finally hit. I had to basically like kind of just compress it down because I didn't, because you can't really be like that. You can't be like that on a recording. Like, what the hell? Like, that's not how that shit works. But we had this planned for 6 months, and then he came and visited, and I was just like, no, I'm not gonna squander this. I can't. And
that is some impressive resilience.
It just...
It is. And you have probably more self-control of anyone I know. Of anyone I know. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, literally nobody would know that you used to smoke.
Yeah.
Literally no one would know that.
I used to smoke a lot in my early 20s. Lots of drinking and smoking.
But like, you haven't touched it.
No, I haven't had it in years, actually. And it doesn't mean I don't have the cravings, because God does a bitch want a cigarette sometimes.
But no, I'm like that's that kind of willpower. I am in awe. I am in serious awe. Ryder Wolf 1657 asks, if you had to describe each other as sweet treats, what sweet treats would you describe as for one another? I can read. I can read.
Good job, Mag. I already know this. I know this just straight up. You are... So there's 2 versions.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's you. The normal answer that I would feel like, because everybody would know this, would be a cupcake, funfetti cupcake with buttercream, frosting, and sprinkles.
How many sprinkles?
A lot. It'd be like the whole bitch you would have just dunked it in.
Do you know what funfetti is?
Yeah, it's sprinkles.
It's sprinkles.
I know, it's more sprinkles.
Yes.
So it would be that. But the correct answer is the IHOP cupcake pancakes.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I'll make food. Like, obviously, I cook so much, but one of her favorite meals is I make gluten-free pancakes, and I put sprinkles in them sometimes.
Why is that me? Because it didn't say what's my favorite, it said describe me.
Because that's you.
Oh, okay.
You tell me that's not you incarnate. Like, shit.
I feel like you are a lemon cupcake with cream cheese frosting.
Oh.
Because it's not a traditional cupcake.
No.
Not everybody likes it. Mm-hmm. But when you go hard. Right? Like of the citrus desserts, lemon is like
wait, okay,
lemon.
So you're trying to actually break this down and like legitimately try to make this apply to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so like what does that say about funfetti? You're like little doses of
I am chaos.
You are chaos.
Listen, but
it looks pretty.
It does look pretty. It's rainbow sprinkles, motherfuckers. And then cream cheese because she's your mistress.
She is my mistress.
Well, she used to be.
Which, by the way, I found a cream cheese now that because my dairy allergy, whatever. I have not been able to have cream cheese in like forever, and I finally found one that spreads, that tastes, that is the closest I can get to it. Closest.
It's great.
It's great. Caden Sparklers, right?
Yep.
Okay. Asks, what was your first I want to marry you in the future moment? Oh, I told you this story.
You did.
I have told you this story.
Yes, you did.
So when I first moved up here to where Mag lives, it's Utah. We live in Utah.
It's really not that big of a secret.
It's not that big of a secret. I'm like, whatever. When I made the move up here to Utah, I was coming from California, and because, I'm a California girly, we don't deal with snow well. We don't deal with the cold well, okay? We can barely handle the rain, okay? I moved up to Utah, and it was, I think, November of 2018, or 2017? I forget.
17?
Whatever. I moved out in November. And then December rolled around, and we were hanging out with your family, it was okay, and then literally within the first 30 days, I slipped and I broke my ankle.
For the third time?
For the third time, same ankle.
You broke it around the metal plate.
I chipped the bone at the bottom, that's what I did. But whatever, I'm a mess, you guys know that. So I was not doing well. Because it was the first time I'd broken my ankle since my teenage years. Because I broke it twice in a row. I broke it when I was 14 and 15. Then I broke it again at I think I don't even remember. Yeah, 2018, whatever. I was not handling it well. I was miserable. I had just moved up. It was cold, which meant my bones hurt more. And I love you, Mag, but you did not take care of me that well that time.
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting that. I'll tell you that.
No, because like I was in a cast. It was like the whole freaking, it was horrible. And I had to like try and maneuver around it, like crutches, the whole 9 yards. It was not a fun time. But you were also not used to taking care of someone like that. You had never had to deal with someone like that in that type of like level of I couldn't really do much.
Yeah.
And there was a moment I got so mad and I was yelling at you and I was just having a damn moment because I was in so much pain and you didn't leave me. You didn't leave. You stayed, you comforted me, and then you immediately got me food and left me alone for a little bit. And I know this sounds weird, but that was my I'm gonna marry this woman moment. Because I just realized that I was like, because at that point, like, I've always tried to live my life in the idea that I don't want to lash out at people. I really try to not do that. That's why I'm usually quiet. That's why I'm not confrontational. I really don't like arguments. So like the fact that I went off the rails because I was not okay. Cause like I don't even think I was on pain meds either. They didn't even give me anything. Mm-mm. I think at the ER, they were like, take ibuprofen. And I was like, what, bitch? And this is coming from somebody when I broke my other two incidences. I was on morphine and Vicodin and the whole freaking 9 yards. Like they were giving me all the harder stuff. But I just remember thinking, yeah, she didn't leave, and you still haven't.
I'm not going anywhere.
No, you told me you were gonna be the one that never leaves, and I
told her that at the very beginning.
Yeah.
When we were long distance.
Yeah.
I said those words.
Because I have a lot of abandonment issues. Mm-hmm. Okay. I have a lot of abandonment issues. And that meant a lot.
My moment of I want to marry you in the future was the cyst. That was my moment.
Oh, God. Little story, if you guys don't know, at one point I got...
She's a medical anomaly.
Oh my God.
She should literally be interviewed to be in like medical journals.
I don't want to talk about it, okay? At least not in that respects. It's only on my terms we talk about it, okay?
I'm pretty sure that was 2017, 2016.
I don't remember, but I had a cyst. It got removed, and it was the size of a basketball.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
You think we're exaggerating? No, we have a picture.
Yeah, we do.
And we have a picture of how much fluid they took out of it.
They took out 10 liters. And
I don't even, more than that.
More than that, but that was what they had to take to deflate it to remove it from me. Sorry, this is getting weird. I should probably put a disclaimer on this.
But the point is, I get a call. I'm still long distance at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm almost positive it was you, right? You were the one that called?
Yeah, I'm almost positive it was me.
And you're like, hey, so I'm in the ER and they're going to take me back for emergency surgery. And I was like, what?
Well, yeah, because like I got to the ER, I was basically like fainting and passing out, and I couldn't, like, I was puking. It was the whole 9 yards. And then they're like, well, let's get an MRI scan of you, right? I don't, whatever it was, they put me in the tube and they scanned me. And then they were like, you have a basketball in your gut. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry.
And as a cute little side note, you said that you were so emotional, you turned to Nat, who was there with you, and said, please take care of Mag if I die.
Yeah.
Like, it was
some shit.
A huge deal.
Because I was spiraling. I was fucking spiraling, because I'm like, I'm gonna die. What the fuck?
No.
And then the other thing was, well, if I don't die, I'm gonna lose all of my ovaries and shit. What the fuck? Like, I don't know what or is it cancer? What the fuck is this?
So I hopped on a red eye. And the whole time, I'm just anxiety riddled. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I'm in the airplane. I can't get any updates. We're in the air. And I get there, and for the entire time that you were in the hospital post-surgery, I never left.
No.
So many of your friends and family were saying how like, oh man, I couldn't do it. I'd have to go take a break. I couldn't. And I think that was my moment of like, why though? I don't ever want to leave her side. If anything's ever wrong, I want to be there. And I think that was my moment. And thank God we can look back and laugh. And you do still have most of your equipment.
Oh yeah, I think I only lost a fallopian tube. That was it.
That's it.
That's
and
where it took
cute
place.
little. I don't. We might have said this story before, but screw it. I was waiting in the hospital room for her post-surgery. I didn't get there in time to see her in, and she's in the hall and she's bombarded by her family and a few of her friends. And in the weakest, most adorable voice in the world, I just hear her say, "Where's Mag?" Like all these family and friends flooded around. "Where's Mag?" And I just sat there and I was like, "Yep, that's my girl."
Yep.
So that was my moment. Hey, it's Jacob lol. Says, who does the dishes the most? Who gets the most annoyed when things aren't done? For the first part, moi. For the second part, you.
Yep. So actually, we have a system with the dishes.
You're damn right. We have a system with chores.
Yeah,
okay?
we do have a system.
It's nice. And I think that's really important to have.
It is.
Well,
because like that's always like the biggest argument for most couples. It's like, well, why
chore divvying.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, shit needs to get done.
Yeah.
But I unfortunately have sensory problems, and sometimes when I try to wash the dishes, oh dear God, it's the worst thing in the world.
I don't mind doing the dishes. I hate putting them away.
And I love putting them away.
I hate the organization afterwards. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
I wash them, she puts them away. Mm-hmm. We both cook, but you cook far more than I do, so I do the cleanup.
Well, it's not even you do the meal prep. So what she does is like chop up the veggies or like marinate the meat or things like that, and then I cook it because I'm particular with the way I cook.
No, it's not even that. I suck. I've tried to put the pieces together.
No, are you gonna? Can we tell them about the mac and cheese?
Okay, we can, but I'm gonna be the one to tell it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna add the precursor.
Please do.
That Peanut just passed.
I know.
You may have been perky on not on camera, but perky on microphone. But I wasn't.
Outside of being perky on the mic, I was like out of it. I was a mess.
But I was just pretty much a mess the whole time. I feel so bad. Goody, if you're listening, you're a great friend. Thanks for putting up with my ass being so emotional. But like I made the dumbest mistake.
I asked her to make mac and cheese. It was
but it's dairy free and gluten free.
It's dairy free and gluten free.
And she does it a specific way where she uses the box and the cheese in the box, but she also zhuzhes it up.
Oh yeah, I put bacon in it. It's not vegan. I put bacon in it. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like I do shit like that.
It should be the most simple thing in the world. You cook the bacon, you stick it in the mac and cheese, you add maybe some sour cream or something.
Yeah.
Extra sprinkles of dairy-free cheese, done.
Well, dairy-free sour cream.
Well, yes,
whatever.
Of course. I messed it up. I legitimately messed it up. I put everything together and forgot to cook the bacon. So I'm sitting here with these like massive amount of mac and cheese, and I'm just like, why does the bacon look weird? And then I'm like, oh my God. So Goody gets himself a big old heap and helping, and he's about to dig in, and I come out and I'm crying, okay? I'm crying because I'm like, I'm an idiot. I'm an actual idiot. And I was like, Goody, don't eat it. The bacon's raw. And he just gave me this look of like, it's okay, Meg. It's okay. And it wouldn't be so devastating if I hadn't messed up like so many other stupid simple recipes leading up. So yeah, I can grate a carrot till the cows come home.
You can peel a potato. You can cut an onion nice.
Yes, I can.
She's got a good chop game, you guys.
Yes, I can.
Yep.
Putting them together? Hell no. For some reason, there is a disconnect in the noggin.
Niley? Niley.
I like Niley.
Niley. I don't know. 8096 asks, how do you keep thriving in your marriage?
I like this question a lot because before we talked about how right now we're not thriving, we're surviving. But there is a distinction. I think our marriage is thriving, but ourselves are surviving. I would definitely say that there is a difference. if a marriage is just surviving, that makes me worried. I don't want it to get to that point.
No.
And you mentioned it briefly, but I really do believe that any two people, if they both work at it, can work. And it just becomes a matter of where's the priority. And for me, the priority is always, I want to respect and honor and love you. So it's like, how do you keep it thriving? I respect her. I try to make up for my mistakes. I once made an analogy to her about how, like, if I think of myself as a bull in a china shop and I knock over vases all the time. And that vase may be broken on the floor for a while. Like, it may be months ago I broke that vase, but I eventually want to come back and fix it.
You're one of the few people in my life that when you do make a mistake, you genuinely try to make it up to me. I don't think it's just respect that helps a marriage thrive. I think it's also honoring.
Yeah.
And I know, like, as much as, like, we've briefly touched on the tumultuous idea of certain projects, I still honor it. You wouldn't suspect that at any moment that we're having issues or anything like that. You would never suspect it because I'm not that kind of a person.
We're entertainers, okay? Yeah. We don't air out our dirty laundry. We don't, none of that, okay? We want people to come to us.
You guys come to us for the content. Yes. This is the behind the scenes and we're showing you the ugly shit now. Okay, but if you want to see it, that's fine. But when you're watching the main content, no, that's not where I'm going to put that.
Yeah.
But I honor you. I know what your creativity is. I know what your love is. I know who you are as a person because of how much we've worked on our marriage in the last 10 years. Or
we keep
relationship
saying,
for the last 10 years, I would say.
No, stick to 5.
Right.
This is about 5.
This is the 5 mark. But, like, that's why I'm trying so hard to get back on the ball with content. That's why I'm pushing so hard. And my cat is totally ruining this damn moment right now. Sniper honey. Yeah, I'm looking at you.
She's too ashamed to meow so that, people think we're just crazy.
Yeah, right. That's exactly it. Little brat. Anyways.
This is a good segue.
This is a very wonderful segue.
Everybody loves a good comeback story.
Everybody.
Fucking God help me.
Let's be like old times.
Woo!
Now onto the YouTube /content.
I would say fandom. Fandom project questions, I feel like.
Penny Blush 98 asks, after being back for over a year, did you expect to ever make a return? What were the promises you made or the changes you approached content creation with this time that solidified YouTube as a passion?
Such a good question. I love how insightful people are.
Okay. Not looking too deep into it, I would say 2022 was a very rough year.
I would
specifically
say,
for you.
Yeah. 2022, I didn't upload anything and I really took a break. Like, I walked away from the channel and it wasn't necessarily a break of, I'm going on vacation, you guys, for, what is it?
You were sick.
I was sick. I wasn't
almost
okay.
the entire year.
Yeah.
And that may sound absurd, but it's true.
It was.
You were genuinely ill for an entire year. That's also when you found out that you were allergic to dairy.
Yep.
So that was not helping.
Well, no, I would say that was the year I really tried to actually do it because up to that point, I was still kind of in denial about that.
I mean, that's fair.
I was definitely, I wasn't taking care of myself. Like,
but did you ever expect to make return? Yes. We talked about that year. Of like, you want to come back, but you want to do it in your own terms. You want to do it a specific way. That's not what ended up happening.
No,
but
it's not what ended up happening.
But yeah, you always did want to come back.
YouTube has always been a passion for me. And I love the idea that you can create your own content and post it. I've always thought that idea was so appealing. And as the years have gone on though, my approach to everything has definitely evolved a lot more to the point where I've had to be stringent on certain things or else my mental health will suffer. And it's I would say I was saying a lot of those things, but deep down I was scared that I wasn't going to make that return because I didn't know if I had enough.
Oh, with me backing you, there's no way you wouldn't.
Oh, I know. That's okay.
We make the joke all the time. She's like, without you, Mag, I probably would have jumped the pony ship a long time ago. And I was like, no, you on this train forever, girl.
Right.
Forever. We are going to be diversifying. You're already doing gaming and vlogging.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing much more other stuff, but pony's not actually going anywhere.
No.
It's not.
I would say it's evolving.
Yes.
That's actually what I would say it is.
As far as like changes, I think we really at that point started to go crazy with the type of changes we did for your channel specifically.
Yeah.
It went from single image, few collaborators to
full-on productions.
Yeah.
I would say.
And I'll take the blame for that.
Yeah.
My years of Pinkie Tails and Princess Trixie Sparkle have,
Yeah, but I would say it's brought a whole other edge to my content that I don't think could have ever been achieved.
I mean, I learned how to code a visual novel to tell a story.
Yeah.
On LostNarrator, which is Apple of the Dead.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think as far as passion is concerned, that's probably where both of us have the hardest time balancing.
Yep.
Balancing between what's expected, what people want from us, and what we actually are wanting to spend more time on. Don't get me wrong, and I'm making a blanket statement here. You're sitting here like I'm not saying anything. It's because I'm making a blanket statement.
Yeah.
We don't not enjoy the content we put out that's geared towards our audience. However, I have a lot more opportunities because I'm on both channels a lot to do things that mean something to me. And I want going forward for that to be much more available to you.
What Mag is saying is, in layman's terms, your girl wants to do more songs, and I'm not just killing the ponies, but we still gonna kill the ponies, okay? That's still gonna happen, but that's also why I've got Norco Pizza Party, which is my Let's Play channel, and that's why I have, TheLostExtras, and in fact, I'm gonna be even covering Lady Gaga's Disease. It's gonna be coming out soon. I would say when it comes to content creation, I'm finally trying to let myself pursue things that I haven't been able to pursue fully, and I'm at least gonna give it a chance, who cares? But yeah, I think deep down inside, I really didn't think I was gonna make a return. That 2022 was a year that really shook me in the sense of my own mental health, and maybe one day I'll talk about it, but the most I'll say is that I didn't know if I could make a return. But that's why when I kept reading comments and I kept seeing you guys reaching out to see how I was, and also how impactful my content has been to you all over the years, I knew I needed to come back, but I needed to make sure that I took care of myself. And I am. I would say now that I really am taking a better care of myself. This was supposed to come out on our anniversary. That was the original schedule for it. And here we are recording it literally after the anniversary. And that doesn't change anything. I think the new thing I'm telling myself is, fuck the schedule of what is on here. I'm gonna do it in my own time.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference between passion and content creation.
So true. So true.
Jackson Albury 9803 asks, what is your least favorite MLP character in your opinion?
Oh boy.
Well, wait. Well, it's of course my opinion. It's my favorite character.
You mean least?
Well, because I've always said this question is a loaded question because it's really who is best pony and who's your favorite / least favorite and who's worst pony. So I think in my head it's who's worst pony in my opinion.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sure did.
I
have the answer I don't want anyone to know, and then I have an answer that's
politically correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually.
We know how Twitter works.
Listen. All I'm gonna say is I do a lot of content with the pony I consider to be the worst one.
Oh,
I do. And I think, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I love the show so much. The bar is still up pretty high. I mean, I don't think there's any singular character in there that I'm ugh, it should be without this one or make it so much better. No, I think...
I can give one hint. I'm in the same boat as you. There is a character I cannot admit but I can say they're not a pony. That is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
They're not a pony.
Yeah, I know exactly who
You
you're
know
talking
exactly
about.
who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah. No, but I would say, like, the politically correct answer, Twist. She was a bitch to Apple Bloom. Fuck her, okay?
The Spike's not a dad, I guess. What? What?
Spike's not a dad.
What? That was a weird episode. I would be okay not having that episode. Like, he's so not memorable to me that all I can do is imagine the face. I don't even remember the name. Gaming Kingdom 91 asks, here's a question. In My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, which character is your favorite? So the other end.
It's the other end of the spectrum.
No, so my answer's complicated because it changed from when I came into the fandom till now.
Actually, yeah, it did change because it's no longer that pony.
No, it's not. Coming into the fandom, Pinkie Pie, hands down. She was my girl. Still love her, but she's not my favorite anymore. Then it turned into Big Mac. Actually,
yeah, you were.
Big Mac was second. He slid right under that radar, and then suddenly Big Mac was my bae. Which I don't find it coincidental that he ended up with a pink unicorn with purple hair.
Whatever.
Just saying.
Whatever.
Then, because of you, it was Rainbow Dash for a long time. It was Rainbow Dash, and now I want to say the longest amount of time. It is Applejack. And that's also no surprise considering all the Apple all over your channel.
Apple content every day, every year, here on this channel. Welcome. I don't know why it defaulted AJ.
Hey, no, but that's the thing. She knows no matter what mood I'm in, if she does her Applejack voice, it makes me smile and cheers me up. And there are some times I want to be mad. Okay, there are some moments I just want to be so angry, and she'll put on the Applejack voice and say something so cute and comforting, and it makes me even more mad because it ruins my mad. God, I love AJ so much.
God damn it.
Okay, what's yours?
For me, when I first got into the fandom, it was definitely Rainbow Dash and Rarity. I would say when I think of like the main six, they are the best characters. I don't care. Like, in my opinion. But remember how I also said there's best pony. And you're right, AJ has grown on me over the years. I would say AJ is probably one of my top favorites in, like, the overall.
I love her so much.
Well, it's because she's the most adult of them. Like, she loses her parents. She has to be responsible. She's such a good example of what little girls, like, when they go through stuff, what they can strive to be. Because even though, she loses her parents and, like, it's on her to keep the farm going, but, like, it's such a wonderful thing to see.
It is.
It is. It's such a, and it just,
She's also my favorite character to write.
Yeah.
Both grimdark or comedy. Because I think that Applejack has the most potential to be the funniest and the scariest.
Yeah.
And it's because she's such a beacon of good. It's because she's such a beacon of hope and friendship and everything. In fact, I think she embodies friendship better than any of them. But that's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. But I exploit the hell out of that when I make my content because I don't know.
Yeah.
It works for me.
Nix Knight 6311 asks, what inspired you both to create the MLP content you do? What's some of your favorite pieces of fandom content?
Okay, well, like, of each other?
I'm assuming they're talking about, like, actual fandom content.
So, like, we're not a part of it.
We're not. Well, no, because, like, other things that are not on our channel. I would probably think that's how we preface this.
Okay, fine,
Okay, because, like, I get it. Because for me, one of those answers is Pinkie Tails Sky Blue, because I get to, basically, it's G-rated Apple Sleep AJ. Like, it's so funny.
You had so much fun with that.
I don't think there's many, I'm almost positive there's not many bloopers on that one. Like, I didn't, like, the recording session for that went really smooth.
The takes for it were the bloopers.
Yeah.
Your Applejack in that is Chef's kiss. For anyone, because this is on the Lost Narrator channel, for anyone who wants some good comedy of Lost, go watch Sky Blue and the Seven Colors, which is a parody of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah. Which will probably be better than Disney's going on.
I have to say, content I'm not a part of, and I'm doing these out of order. I know I'm doing this out of order.
Oh yeah, we're definitely
I told
doing
you
these.
I am chaos. Anyway, I would say melodic pony. Melodic pony. Melodic was up there. Because I walked down the aisle to the Princess Twilight suite that he composed.
Yeah.
I think that work was awe-inspiring. It was beautiful. It was magical. It was everything. And
in case you guys don't know, they were a composer. He was.
yes.
And
He has passed away.
yeah.
He passed away after doing a few pony pieces, and I think the fandom has embraced his
I think Melodic's pieces were literally performed
By
like
a live
orchestral
by a live orchestra.
Melodic's work is wonderful. I would say it's awe-inspiring with like how the complexities of the harmonies and like the instruments and everything, and just it was really wonderful. But and it's so sad too, like that they passed. But yeah.
I think it comes as no surprise that tied for first for that would be Ponyphonic, because one of the first pieces of content I ever did on my channel was a Princess Cadence parody of Lullaby for a Princess, and then a Queen Chrysalis parody of The Moon Rises. I think those songs are masterpieces. I think the animations they inspired are masterpieces. Can you tell I like the music that the fandom created?
Music, like even now still, like I'm still seeing a few like musicians like Violet Pony, and there's a few others that are still trucking along, and it's so cool to see that. But in the early days, like the music scene was huge and thriving. Oh my gosh, it was crazy.
Name another fandom that had its own dedicated radio station.
Yeah, I had a radio station. I think there's still a few, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So your favorite content obviously is more the music side.
Well, but then stuff that I'm allowed to say because I'm a part of it, I'm gonna fuck it. It's another Apple Sleep experiment. Fuck it.
I'm all trying to not like.
No, like it's not on my channel, so it doesn't count. That's technically fandom content.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Period.
Okay, if we're going that whatever, I'm gonna go obscure. Okay, back when Miss Breezy was actually doing pony content, she would upload these little shitpost parodies of like live action shit with the dolls, and they were some of the funniest fucking things. They got animated at one point too. But like, I don't know. I think they got lost to time. I don't know. But that was some of my favorite stuff. Anything from Minty, to be honest. And that's a little biased because I was in an animation, whatever. But Minty's animations are just so jaw-dropping and just so stunning. Gorgeous stuff.
And in fact, Minty animated to some of Melodic's music.
DWK,
Totally legit recap.
Those were some of my favorite things that came out of the fandom.
Yeah.
And like I was a fan of DWK, like huge.
You actually got him to be in a fic reading.
Yeah, I did.
He's in Pinkie Pie Learns a New Word.
Yeah. And then what inspired you both to make MLP content?
So, Disney Fanatic 2364, is that the numbers are?
I don't remember.
I just call her DF.
Yeah, we call her DF.
She was actually the first fandom content I consumed at all.
Which was Bride of Discord.
Bride of Discord. And I remember watching that and thinking, oh my God, I want to do that, but I want to do something different, right? Like I want to do not a romance story. And I want to make it a musical because I absolutely just am crazy. And my shining little cringy Princess Trixie Sparkle was born. And I know how cringy it is, okay? I embrace and love it for its cringe. Period. But DF is a lovely person. She was even at our wedding.
Yeah, we invited her to the wedding. Yeah.
It's been really fun to see what inspired where I am now.
For me, so I worked a lot, and at that point too, I was also doing YouTube content with other things like gaming and stuff like that around 2012, 2013, and I was really getting involved with it because I would be, I worked at a place where I was doing data entry, so it was a lot of, I could listen to music or listen to whatever I wanted to, so I'd listen to audiobooks, and then I found the rabbit hole that was creepypasta readings. And then through that, I think I found Scribbler, because then suddenly, oh, there's a bunch of other people like in the fanfic readers area that are reading fanfics. I wanted to, I always liked the idea of telling stories through audio, because like that was just something that was really cool, but I didn't think I could do that for MLP, and now here I am, almost 11 years later now?
Yeah.
Doing this? I'm just
technically 12.
Yeah, I try not to think about how old I am. I try not to think about how long we've been doing this. But yeah, that's how I got started doing MLP content.
Mute Pony 66 asks, what brought you into the Brony fandom? What brought you into the grimdark side of the fandom? And what made you start writing grimdarks and pony horror? Again, I've stated this before, but screw it. I was a nanny at the time that I discovered My Little Pony. A Canterlot Wedding Part 2 was playing on their TV. It was on Netflix at the time, and I was enthralled. I watched Part 2, and then I watched Part 1. I mean, I've loved Cadence ever since, by the way. I went home and I binge watched seasons 1 through 3 pretty quickly. I don't say not all in one day, but pretty fast. What brought me into the grimdark side of the fandom? This lovely woman beside me. Because as much as she may think that she was, not the shit back then, to me, she sure was.
That's not what the comments were like back then? Shit. Freaking.
I was intimidated by yours and Scribbler's success. I thought that I was lesser, and I was like, you know what? I really want to impress these people. Like, I just really want to impress them. So I performed A Little Dash, which is a parody from Sweeney Todd, and I did covers as Pinkie from Ink Pots.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, the Jekyll and Hyde songs. And I excitedly showed them to you and Scribbler. Like, look what I can do. Please be proud. Please like me. Can you like me? Well, and then as I got to know you more and started getting a crush on you, I was like, you had mentioned there's no good grimdarks for Applejack. All right, bet. But, yeah.
What made me want to start writing grimdarks? Trauma.
Wow.
Well, because I'm thinking about what actual grimdarks I've written, and I've got Tale of the Lost Narrator series for the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing I've legitimately written in terms of grimdarks.
But it's such a staple. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'm biased, clearly.
You're clearly biased.
But
no, it's trauma. I was working out shit in my head, old relationships. That's all I'm going to say. If you really want to know, there's a podcast. It's linked on the cards. Go ahead and help yourself. I think someone had asked me originally what my OC's backstory was, and I sat there and thought, well, what would it actually be?
Well, what you came up with was beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
it was a lot of fun.
And then you dragged me into it. So.
I did drag you into that.
Kicking and screaming in the beginning, so.
Alicia Wickland, 1257, asks, what are your favorite and least favorite projects that you have done? There's only one answer, honey. We've already talked about this. There's one answer for both of them, and it's another Apple Sleep experiment.
It's both.
It's both. We're not going to elaborate on it. You're just going to have to deal.
Oh, boy. Midnight Dragon Slayer asks, what other fandoms are you guys a part of? Well, I guess that depends on what they mean by a part of.
Yeah, because, I watch a lot of other communities, I would say, but I'm not necessarily making...
Part of
yeah. I would... Well, because if you're saying, making content, too, I would say gaming. That's definitely one now because of Norco Pizza Party.
Mm-hmm. That did include, Animal Crossing. We did a song.
Yeah, but we weren't really, up on the fandom. I don't know.
I know. It's kind of an interesting like, you guys are a part
no
of.
offense, I'm not even trying to be that person, but looking at other fandoms comparing to what Pony was in its heyday, it's hard for me to want to engage with that content because like there's already such quality standards in my head. And there are a few. I saw a really, really nice radio play drama being put on together that was based on Breath of the Wild. It was really wonderful, actually. But like, I wouldn't say I'm part of that fandom.
I've done content of Undertale and Five Nights at Freddy's and Minecraft and various Disney.
But are you interacting with that fandom though?
No,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a weird question, but like, I would say like for other fandoms, we're
consumers, not necessarily
content creators.
Yeah,
like I would say this is a fandom of sorts, but I love Skyrim mods. I've always been big on them, especially not just the quality of life mods and the graphic mods, but the full on scale. Like, they feel like legit DLCs that could have been part of the game mods. It is so wonderful to see all of that, and especially like the original voice acting, the original storylines, and all of the little intricacies that go into that. And they're just mods. They're not being charged, you know? I would say that's a fandom, but I'm definitely not a part of it because I'm not making stuff like that. Though if anybody does know anyone and needs a voice actor, hit me up.
In that similar vein, I'd say true crime would be a fandom.
Yeah, you're definitely a huge true crime fan.
I love body cam footage. I love deep dives into specific cases. I'm all about all that.
Alex Run 902 asks, why did you guys redesign your OCs? Because it's been 10 years and I think she needs to glow up.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a redesign either.
It's not really, because, well, at least like mine, I feel like feels more like what I've always wanted for my OC in terms of like what she's supposed to look like. And that's why like I make the joke like the old design is more of a curse word and this is actually more more lost, I would say.
Yeah.
That's why like it has like on the whole OC design, like I have a scar on my ankle because of all the surgeries I've had and things like that, and I'm wearing my wedding ring.
You wear your wedding ring around your neck, which is what you do in real life.
Yep, that's what I do in real life.
She only likes fidget rings to wear on her hands, which is fine.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a cool little crossover from real life to pony for you.
Yep.
With my character, I updated the cutie mark a little bit because I wanted to show off more of the magpie bird-esque-ness. The quill is now like a magpie bird feather. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's pretty much similar.
You mentioned that the mane was, what was it? Finally, the design you've always wanted for her.
Yes, she's seen, I used to sketch my pony design out like before I even went to YouTube, and I could not figure out the mane. I wanted my hair up. That's all I really knew, but I didn't have any ideas of how to put it up and make it look fancy and nice until pretty much Singlet came along and was like, here, let me make it look all cool and fancy and stuff. And I think it's gorgeous. Hope's Rainbow World 1130 asks, a question I've thought about a lot was how did the idea of Applejack knowing she's in a story / breaking the fourth wall come into place? Also, I thought it was pretty funny when Pony Life came out that AJ broke the fourth wall. I immediately thought they stole that from Pinkie Tails / Magpie. Actually, it wouldn't be the first time that I feel like the official show creators have noticed me.
I mean, the comics are pretty much doing like
Pinkie Tails.
Yeah, they were doing that at one point.
In fact, I'm almost positive there's now an official quote unquote Fluttershy as Snow White, and Discord's telling it, which is very reminiscent of Discord Tales. I'm flattered.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm flattered. I take two already existing entities, mash them together and have fun with it. Why would I be anything other than flattered? You know, I mean, I think it's cool. I think that's awesome. And honestly, having Pony Life AJ break the fourth wall just makes my heart soar. Because before G5's lore that Earth ponies have plant growing magic, I watched the one special, guys.
I know. We don't have much reference for G5.
For G5. We don't have much reference. I just thought the cool thing about Earth ponies is that they're down to earth. They're the straight men. except for Pinkie, of course. They're the ones who know what's going on.
A straight man, you might want to explain what that is, because some people might not know what that is.
It's a term. Sorry.
It's a trope.
Yes.
It's a trope. It's a TV trope.
But I thought, wouldn't it be really funny if all Earth ponies can technically break the fourth wall? And Applejack is the only other Earth pony in the main 6, so she's the one that sort of gets put into content more often. Plus, we all now know that Applejack is my favorite. It just makes it so much funnier. It makes it so funny. In fact, I reveal, I'm going to put air quotes, I reveal this lore of mine in Ask Ponies, Octavia, and Vinyl, because I say that Octavia can also break the fourth wall. I just think that's hilarious. Pegasi can fly and are ditzy. Unicorns can do magic and are kind of snooty. And then Earth ponies are down to earth and can break the fourth wall. I don't know. I think that's fun.
The Dread one asks, have you guys thought about doing more Equestria Girls content?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a very good question.
Do you want me to field this, or do you want to go?
I mean, I could just straight up say probably not. Don't get me wrong. I like Equestria Girls. And I like that Rara Jack has been officially canonized into Equestria Girls. But the problem, though, is that since they're teenagers, it gets into this weird gray area in my head that I always try to be careful with. Cause I know that people or kids are still sometimes find my content and they shouldn't be, but that's a thing. And with them being teenagers, I feel like the types of problems that they would be facing, especially when I've seen how the fanfics have gone, they can be a little dicey for what I think is appropriate with my channel. Mm-hmm.
Because the show establishes the ponies as adults.
Yeah, they're adults in at least that's how I've always seen it. They are adults in the show Ponies, but in Equestria Girls, they're teenagers. And
with the exception of Sunset Shimmer.
Yeah.
Who is also an adult.
Well, no, but that's the problem. I don't know if she is. That's why this gets weird. That's why I stay away from this shit.
No, she is. She's older than Twilight. Celestia confirmed it.
But then why is she a teenager along with Twilight?
It's weird.
This is why okay, you don't want to know why? Because it gets weird, okay? It gets fucking weird. And plus, let's be realistic here. Hooves, you guys. Why the hell do I want to fucking focus on hands when we could have hooves?
I will say, though, I adore Sunset. I adore her. I want to do more content with her. I really loved the Dazzlings, too. I brought them over into the pony world again to do Dazzling content that way because I'm right there with you. It got weird. It got weird.
It got weird.
Yeah.
And it's not, like I said, Rainbow Rocks, bitchin' movie. Oh my God. I can sing those songs till the cows come home. But realistically though,
it's just, there's just certain things we don't want to.
Yeah. And that's not, I don't think, no. So no. Sorry, no.
Just a random guy, RQ3CD. Just a random guy with a random bunch of letters, eh? If Hasbro contacted you and told you to bring back Friendship is Magic, how would you do it?
I wouldn't. I'm kidding. God, no.
Okay, this is gonna be kind of hot takey. I'd start over. I wouldn't want to keep going because I think as much as I didn't like the ship that they implied at the end.
It's not even that. I'll be honest, the more that the show went on, no offense, the more convoluted it became because then we got the school and then we got the mini six, which they're fine. I'm not saying they're bad, but the show's core was about those main 6.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just kind of, because I get it too, Hasbro needs to make their money. They had to figure out ways to keep it fresh. And I get how that goes, especially when it comes to media like that. You have to keep the story plot going.
And unfortunately, being a largely toy-based company, keeping it fresh also means bringing in more characters.
Yep.
And if The Simpsons is proof of anything, it's that more characters doesn't always mean better content.
No.
Now, is that to say the new characters they brought in later seasons are bad? No, of course not. Okay, it's just...
There's a reason why the popular opinion with The Simpsons is seasons 2 or 3 through 8, I think are the seasons.
That most people agree with.
That most people agree are the golden years.
Yeah.
And I feel like Them had its own little version of that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you can still love something and be critical of it. That is something I do truly believe when it comes to media consumption. You can look at something and be like, yeah, I really like this part, but ooh, that's a little rough there.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I think I genuinely would want to start it over. I think there are really cool aspects they didn't explore that could have been explored. I think that there were dynamics between characters that could have gone differently. And honestly, how much fun would it be if it was already canonized that Earth ponies could break the fourth wall? If we had more than just Pinkie shenanigans, or, you know, like,
I mean, they kind of did that in Pony Life, but then Pony Life is like Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like that.
They took them out of the sort of medieval-esque area and put them in modern times, and I didn't really jive with that as much.
No, it wasn't even, it was this weird mesh of the two worlds. That's why Lauren's vision of the world was so wonderful.
Yeah.
Because it had those elements, but they had phonograms and they had all these other little things.
But as ironic as this question is, we've been talking a lot, and I don't want to like get everyone's hopes up that it's for sure happening, but we want to start our own pony world. That's not My Little Pony. It's our ponies. And think of My Little Pony meets American Dad.
Oh, well, I was going to say the other one.
Oh, well, I mean...
Well, I was going to say, we have 2 ideas, you guys. It's not just one.
But still hooves.
But still hooves. She's got something that's pony, but American Dad. I have something that is pony, but Game of Thrones.
Yes.
But...
Because I think American Dad, not Family Guy, because American Dad's so much better. But you get the idea. It's more adult themes, but with pony characters.
Yeah.
And for completely different reasons. One's comical and one's more epic.
Yeah.
But I think that's the direction ponies should go, in my opinion.
If Hasbro contacted me, they wouldn't. They sure as shit wouldn't. And if I was asked to bring it back, I would probably actually go more closer to what Lauren originally envisioned for the characters. That's actually where I would go, because don't get me wrong, I'm glad with what we got, but it would have been cool to see more and leaned into more what she would have actually wanted with the show. And
Yeah, true.
Crystal Heart LQ1PR. I like all these random...
I love it.
It must be the YouTube generator thingy, I'm assuming.
Right.
Whatever. Asks, if you were to remake an MLP Grimdark reading, what would you remake?
Remake a reading? So does that mean
I've done it already?
And it's like it's asking you? It's like your production?
I'm assuming. What would I remake? I mean, I already did the one that I wanted to do, and that was Silent Ponyville 2. I did that.
So you technically...
I already did it. So that one.
There you go.
That's it. I don't really, I do them occasionally, I do reduxes of old stories and stuff like that. But, realistically, I kind of want to just move forward. I want to really, tell new stories. I want to do other things.
To put that into context for me, I think if it said writing, there's only one change I would make. And that is to rewrite the very, very end of the first Apple Sleep and characterize Twilight in a way that people weren't as upset with. Only because I still feel like it's in character for her.
So, would you add context? Would you add an additional scene?
Yes, I would add to make it more...
You're pulling a George Lucas here.
Yes!
That is what George Lucas did with the Star Wars movies.
Exactly.
You want to pull a George Lucas.
But in my personal opinion, I fixed it in the sequel. I explained why Twilight's in character, in my opinion. So...
Yeah. It's what I've always said. If you guys don't like an ending, go write a fanfic. It's okay. It's okay to not like things, okay?
Folan, I always say
Cortez.
Yes, but I always say it Folan. Is it Fowlin? Cortez asks, what are your general thoughts on G5? We don't know enough about it to have thoughts.
So I have only seen the movie A New Generation, right? Is that what it's called? Whatever, the one with Kimiko Glenn. That is the one I reacted to on Bronies React, okay?
Yes.
That is legitimately the only media I have consumed of G5.
I also watched the first special. I think it's Make Your Mark.
Yeah.
where the Earth Ponies get magic Earth power.
Whatever, I don't know.
Unfortunately, that's the only content we've consumed of G5.
I am not going to say, because I have seen the fandom rift about this, it's okay if you like it.
Yeah.
It's just not for me. I'm sorry, this channel's primarily G4, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, okay?
No.
And if you guys like it, cool. I'm really glad that you guys have it. And I know there's other content creators that are doing it. I don't know, I can't say who, because I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I know one of the Grimdark headliners this year is a G5 story. I know for a fact it is. I don't want to say who because I don't know if they've actually said yet. But, you know.
I saw spoilers of specific things. Someone compared my villain from Princess Trixie Sparkle.
There's that meme I saw. Someone made a meme of it.
Yeah.
Where it's like every good quality thing has its ripoff, and it shows Estelle with the other pony from G5, and it gave me a chuckle because I'm like, because I don't know what the context is. I don't know.
Opaline, I think, is her name.
Whatever.
But like, so I have seen spoilers on certain things, but I'm kind of in the same boat. It's just, my thing is, the thing that made G4 magical to me, I loved the setting they were in. They were modern and they weren't. It was modern enough that, you know, they had toilets, but you didn't have to see them.
Well, I'll even be honest too. This is the only iteration of My Little Pony that I genuinely got into.
Yeah.
A lot of people got in around G4, unlike Scribbler, who came in G1 because she's that OG here. But like, I didn't see myself going with G5 when they were originally talking about it.
I'm just not as into the ideas of ponies having social media. And it be taken seriously. Because I do ponies have social media bits on Ask Ponies. But yeah, no, like I said, it's not for us. It's cool that you like it. Yes.
And I'll be honest, Hasbro did you guys dirty, okay?
The way that they canceled
it, that was bullshit. Okay. That was real bullshit. And I'm sorry that happened to you guys. But, you know, like I said, it's not for me. And like Mag has even mentioned too, we kind of want to branch away and make our own pony.
Yeah.
So like, it's not, you know.
Not a bad thing at all.
Not a bad thing. Mari, the extrovert, 5674. asks, have you ever or are planning to write an MLP story together? Isn't that what Apple of the Dead is, technically? I think Apple of the Dead is...
Apple of the Dead's written by everybody.
Well, yeah, but like Mag and I, though, are collaborating on that in terms of writing.
You wrote the journal entries. Mm-hmm. Like, straight up, she wrote those.
Yeah.
And then we both kind of constructed the first part together. I consult her quite a bit once everyone's chosen a path. For those who are confused, because I know the Apple of the Dead's not as widely known as, say, Apple Sleep. It is a interactive choose your adventure style grimdark.
In the form of a visual novel.
Yes. At the end of the story, you have two choices, and within a certain amount of time, you have to pick a choice, and depending on what you choose, that is how I write the story going forward for the next segment. And yes, it matters. There are story beats that, like, it's not just I'm trying to get you all to do one specific path. No, it matters. I go into this blind, and when you pick the path, I write it. And so I think you're a big part of that because
I help with the writing process.
Yes.
I would say I'm a springboard, and then I'm also helping with the journal entries.
I would also say another one we wrote together in a lot of ways was La Pomme Boutique.
Yeah.
You weren't a part of the actual writing, but you helped construct the outline, right? Like I got...
Well, and then I was your editor, and I would say I was more of a beta reader, which means I helped write certain areas and add more to it.
Yes. But everything else, she's sprinkled in almost everything else.
Yeah.
She's sprinkled in, like, I want her in everything else.
And are we planning to, well, I mean, we're planning on writing a pony story, but not MLP.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I would say Immortal Affliction still counts.
Oh, yeah.
As something that we are quote unquote planning to write. We're still working the kinks out of, it's going to be 4 parts. We're still working the kinks out of 3 and 4, but we're in the process.
Yeah, it's in the right. I would say part 3 is about 90% done written.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
And then with part 4, it's more of just trying to figure out certain aspects of it. So, but yeah, I'd say we're writing all the fucking time.
Thunderstorm0820. Ooh, that's one number off from my birthday. When do y'all think you're going to stop making MLP content, or is it just your death contract?
I mean, see, this person gets it.
Okay, here's my thing. It's because of My Little Pony that I'm where I am. It's because of My Little Pony I found my soulmate. It's because of My Little Pony I found my friends, some of whom have migrated to Utah and are now as close to me as siblings. And I don't think I will ever actually stop making My Little Pony content. It just may not be focused on My Little Pony for forever. And
it's going to evolve. Pony will always be here, but what we're going to end up doing with it in the long run will be still in the same spirit of it, but something that's finally ours.
yeah, that's great for you, but even for me, I'm gonna still want to visit Pinkie Pie.
Oh yeah,
I'm still gonna want to visit.
It's not even that. There's gonna be times where, guys, guess what? You're getting a fucking fanfic reading. Cool. Like, I'm gonna do this still. Like, that's never gonna stop because I like making these types of productions. But I've also gotten to this point where I'm like, I got other stories I really want to tell, and I'm, we're getting there. Mortal Affliction's one of them, and I'm fucking hyped for that one. Undead Goat asks, what is your favorite running channel bit?
Mine is 100% Applejack's shovel. Sheila. Specifically, Sheila. She has a name.
Sheila the Shovel. I hate that my voice just goes into it sometimes.
I love it so much.
I'm also tired, but go on.
It's on both of our channels. We had a wonderful fan send us a plushie of Applejack with a little tiny shovel.
Yeah. There was totally a shovel. It was
with her like a little sticker of her cutie mark on it. It was perfect. I love Sheila the Shovel. And I think
AJ would be a bitch that would do that. And that's why I love it. It's totally in fucking character.
Right?
So she would have a favorite shovel because the bitch does a lot of work. Why not?
Another one that actually doesn't involve you is Pitch in his cage. That has followed him for almost his entire
YouTube shit.
I don't talk to him as often. We're still good friends, don't get me wrong. But it comes up a lot.
Yeah, it comes up a lot, especially in your comment section sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
I don't know. Everybody talks about hotter than titties.
Hotter than titties.
That was a thing. Whatever. I try.
That's your 20% cooler.
It is, and I don't know how to feel about that.
No, because it's really good. It's great.
It was bad. I was having like a heat stroke trying to record lines. Okay, like whatever. But yeah, no. I'm trying to think of any other bits. I think those are the ones.
I mean, there's quite a few bloopers that have
transcended,
and we reference them a lot in real life. I do still to this day go around going Justice League as rarity. Like I still.
God damn it.
But yeah, we have a lot of fun. Savannah the Slytherin, Good House, asks, do you plan to bring back Ink Dye, Curse Word, and Beloved in any upcoming projects?
I was playing around with the idea of writing an epilogue to Chronicle of Curse Word. And it's just one little thing. It's like a little boop, okay? It's not going to be anything big, okay? That's not the point. It's just, I have been toying around with the idea. Hell, I've been toying around with it since 2022. That's how long I've been toying around with this fucking idea. But every time I kind of sit down to really think about it, it kind of just does, I don't know.
It's the same problem I had with Apple Sleep. It can go in so many different directions, It gets a little overwhelming.
It does. And yeah, kind of. I know, like, for one of our projects, we are playing around with potentially bringing back a Curse Word and a Beloved.
Not from that series.
Not from that series.
But them as characters.
Yes, them as characters. We have been toying around with that. But, like, as in, like, Ink Dye herself, not really. I feel like she's, like I said, she's kind of tied to the Tale of the Lost Narrator series. Like, that is her integral part, but that's where she belongs. She don't belong anywhere else.
Yes, exactly.
Natalia B, right?
Mm-hmm.
Natalia B 7754 asks, have you both ever voiced other characters that aren't from MLP?
Yes.
Yeah, actually we have. I did a Steven Universe comic dub on my channel, and I voiced Amethyst for it, but the only reason why I did it is because I was sick, so I could do that. Low rat.
You were Undyne from
yeah, I voiced
Undertale for me?
For your Undertale song. Yeah.
I played Harley Quinn on our good friend Ferris's channel with Mr. J. What else?
What other things have I done? I'm all thinking about my back catalog, and I'm like, wait a minute, what have I voiced?
Listen, we do so much that
Yeah, we do. It's pretty like crazy. I know we were in a video game. I know that. We got, or like a mod. We got asked to be a mod for, or voice actresses for a mod for a sea game. I don't even...
Some kind of battleship thing.
Yeah, it was some battleship game. I was, that was cool. What else? What have we done? I don't know. Like we've done some other things outside of Pony, but I'm thinking the sad truth is I'm like, all I do is voice that country horse and that rainbow bitch. That's all I do.
And I love her so much for it. Period. Gaming with Josie asks, are there any stories you wanted to do but couldn't due to time? Stories we wanted to do but didn't have time? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Off the top of my head, there was a Halloween special I abandoned that was a cross between Death Note and Pony, where Trixie was the main character. I just couldn't get it to work the way I wanted it to, and then Halloween was very fast approaching and it just fell apart.
Wasn't that the year we did Sinister Symphonies?
Yes.
That was the year that we did
pivoted
songs.
to songs instead that year.
Yeah.
I have always wanted to take each of the main six and turn them into convincing villains. I've been toying around with the ones because I did Fluttershy with Angel of Mercy, and do I even need to say what Applejack's is? Only jokingly did it with Pinkie.
With When They Deflate?
Yes.
But I would say that's more of like them together, and that was way more of a shitpost because you and Pitch literally die at the end.
Yes. It was 100% a shitpost.
That was totally
That was not meant to be taken seriously. And in fact, Friendship Test was another, I wouldn't say it's a shitpost, but it was another me just having fun for the sake of having fun.
I think it was, the joke was, we watched Would You Rather, and then you were like, I'm gonna do that, but Pony. And I was like, cool, do it, babe.
Yep.
And that's what came out.
Yep. And people love Friendship Test.
I would say that's the second most requested story on my channel for a sequel.
Which is crazy. That's crazy to me.
Because the comments are filled with what would happen if like so-and-so showed up and all this shit. And I'm just like, okay.
It's so insane to me because I know you've said this before, but I can shit out a story in a day. That was one of those.
Yeah, it really was.
That was one of those.
Yeah, but then I came by and like, I was like, let's pull the best VAs, and everybody brought their A game for that. Like every actor was just on it for that. And I was like, holy shit.
I was surprised that one took off the way it did for sure.
Stories that I've wanted to do but couldn't due to time? Fuck.
Actually, I would say you have so many ideas.
Yeah, that's my problem, you guys. I have too many fucking ideas.
She lobs so many ideas at me and then is like, well, which one are you going to use? And I'm like, man, you gave me like 80 in 3 days. What am I supposed to do with that? So it's not even due to time. It's just due to mental power.
I would say if there was any story that I wanted to do but couldn't due to time, Twilight's Dollhouse. I know that is one that I've seen a lot of people talk about. The Secret Life of Rarity, I think, is another one. Because they're to be honest, Fallout Equestria. But the reason why I've listed all three, and if you know anything about any of those three, they're more than 30 chapters plus, and your girl don't have time for that.
No.
I can't do lengthy things like that for certain projects like that anymore, unfortunately, because like I said, I've mentioned it in my 10-year anniversary video. It hurts trying to do big projects like that for myself. I would say those three. If I had to be projects I would like, or I'm curious about, and I would like to see if I could do, but time constraints and length of those stories, those three.
Yeah, I'd say so. Wasn't there a Vinyl Octavia one too that you wanted that Scribbler wrote? That it was just...
Oh, yeah, you're right. Playing with My Heart. Oh, God. I love that story. It is one of the saddest damn Octoscratches you will ever read, but it's so good. It is so good. And I would love to do a full production of that. But I ain't got the time.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. I could probably voice it, but I wouldn't be able to give it all of my love and attention as a director. That is not something I could do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. TheLostNarrator, hi Will, asks, having gone through your shared experience of other authors utilizing 1.0 pain and vulnerability for your Tale of the Lost Narrator saga, what limits do you think one should set for themselves as to not mentally break when it comes to making a personal project, be it within the confines of the story itself or while actively writing/recording it?
And that was to you, specifically to Lost. So here's the to Mag part. When it comes to PTS 1 and 2, what made you decide to make each of them musicals, and what sorts of tips would you give to someone who may want to make their own musical miniseries?
Oh, so I go first?
Yeah, go first.
I'll be honest, there are days where I'm just like, maybe we shouldn't have done that. At least, like, for my own mental health, because I really didn't take care of myself during the writing and creation of all of that, because I let the creativity flow. And unfortunately for me personally, I've always used creativity as an outlet for me trying to process and deal with things that have happened to me. And like I said, like we mentioned earlier, it's one of those things where maybe I should have written it but never shared it. But then at the same time, now that I have shared it, I've had a lot of you guys over the years reach out to me about how impactful it was, how you were able to grow and understand how the mechanics of like the topics of how they're presented and like things like that. And I think when it comes to working on projects that are rooted in such deep pain, you have to really make sure that you're taking care of yourself in the process. You have to really be checking in with yourself. Maybe even, I know this is even weird, but maybe even having a therapist along the way while you're working on it, because you're going to be unpacking things that you're going to be like, oh, I wrote this is cool. And then like 5 years later, you're going to look back at it and be like, I didn't even realize the pain that was there myself. I've done that. I have done that where I've gone back to scenes and certain parts that I've written, and I look back and I think, shit, that is a woman who is broken and hurting. And that is not something I should have shared.
I don't think it's something you shouldn't have shared. I think it's something...
I shouldn't have shared in the sense of like
it hurt you.
It hurt me because I was trying so hard. I didn't want my pain to be in vain. That's really what it came down to. And like I said, everybody hurts. That's, everybody gets hurt. That's how our lives are, unfortunately. And if you can take it and infuse it into something to show other people that so that they don't feel alone in a healthy way for yourself, fuck yeah, do it. But I sure shit haven't figured it out.
I think a limit that you set for yourself too is once you know your own brain the best.
Yeah.
You know what your own limits are. And it doesn't matter what anyone else tells you about a deadline or about...
Oh yeah, certain projects that I care about, and I know like people get impatient, but I don't care because it's on my time.
Yeah.
It has to be on my time. And actually, that might be the other key thing too. The Tale of the Lost Narrator series was so difficult on me because I was putting it on a time frame, and that's why it hurt so bad. If I had actually allowed myself the time to really process and actually, not kill myself and the whole thing, I don't think it would have been as hurtful on my part.
My question, the reason I made PTS1 a musical was because the show itself to me is a musical, and I thought it'd be really fun to kind of match that energy. But for the first PTS, with the exception of the final episode, it was parodies. They were song parodies. I remember how much you laughed at the idea that I used We Found Love as a fashion... Welcome to the fashion world. Because you're like, the message in We Found Love.
Mag, I showed you the music video and I was like, look, it's about abuse and drugs. And you're like, let's make it a fashion song.
Yes. You're damn right. And then,
to be honest, it does work. It's got that kind of beat.
Yeah,
but I was like, oh no, the topic.
I loved that though. I love taking something and making something totally new. That is one of my favorite things to do, whether that's in songs, whether that's in stories, whether that's, whatever it is, that's my forte. And from the beginning, I think I really had a lot of fun doing lyrics too. I love poetry and rhymes in that sense. So that kind of is why I fell into the musical aspect of PTS1. And then PTS2, it's like, well, you can't just not be a musical.
No, it needed to be a musical again.
But for that one, I was a completely different challenge. They were all original songs. And not that I wrote the music, mind you, but I did write the lyrics and the harmonies and the melodies. which is a lot harder to do. But so far, it's been a lot of fun. The tips I would give is kind of to do that. Start with parodies.
Start with parodies and make sure you're having fun.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing this and you're not having fun, everyone will be able to see that.
Yeah.
They can see that it's not... Because I've seen those projects before and I can tell that there's something... It just, yeah. Make sure... Because that's the whole point of this. We're supposed to be having fun doing this because that's how the best art comes out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly fine to start by piggybacking off of other media. Just when you take it, make it your own.
I mean, that's what fanfics are.
Yeah.
That's literally what fanfics are, you guys.
What fan fiction is.
Like, we take existing media and we just have fun with it. That's why we're mashing shit together. That's...
I don't know, I've brought up Apple Sleep so many times and I'm so sorry for that, but it's so far removed from the Russian sleep experiment that it's barely even the same story anymore, but I would still say, no, that still has a very large influence in the story. I like to think that goes to show just how far you can take and change something.
Another example would be the Silent Ponyville series that I could think of off the top of my head of mashing something that's clearly something else and trying to redo it.
It did what I love, and it took show-established quirks and facts and made it into the lore of Silent Hill. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that.
Yep.
So that's my advice. Start with parodies. Start with taking an idea. Not even, it doesn't have to be blatant like this story or this movie. Just an idea and make it your own. Ella Sprite asks, what do you canonically? What do you canonically ship in MLP?
Who are the best ships? That's what they're asking. Everyone else's are trash.
Gotcha.
And in this household, Apple Dash is a curse.
Apple Dash makes no sense. I don't want to go on that rant.
We're not going on that rant. I'm shit posting you guys. It's okay. We're making jokes
Anyone
here.
can have a ship. I really don't care.
Yeah.
I like making fun of ships. That's one of my favorite things to do, but I genuinely don't hate any of them.
I would say in our household, the only two ships that matter. No, there's a few. Okay.
There's a few.
So the top, Rara Jack. We are a Rara Jack household.
My top is still Pinkie Dash.
What? See, no, my top's Rara Jack.
I mean, but
my top is Rara Jack.
Who cares about Twilight and Fluttershy?
Right. Who cares? Whatever. They can go do their own thing.
Actually, I like Fluttercord. I adore Trixie and Starlight. Obviously, Vinyl Octavia.
Yeah.
Lyra Bond.
Yeah.
Of course.
I will say, you know what? I'll say all ships are valid except any of them involving Spike.
Or any of the kids, really.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't be doing that. Sorry.
Spike is a child. And I know, too, there are a lot of like, well, I aged him up. And it's like, well, but why are you even thinking about that right now?
Yeah, he's a kid.
He's a kid. I don't know. It's just weird for me.
I'll be honest, like, it's just Spike. Why the hell? He's a baby dragon. Why the fuck should I give a damn about if he's with another fucking character? That's weird.
I also really like Cadence and Shining Armor.
Yeah, you like
They're
that
a lot
one.
of fun. They're fun.
You like that one. It's cute.
I adore.
I like when Shining's stupid.
That's what makes it so good. Right. That's what makes it so good.
But yeah, I would say Rara Jack and Pinkie Dash are our top ones.
Yep.
That is what we canonically ship in MLP.
Yep.
Those two.
And I can explain away cheese any way I like.
Oh yeah.
Cadle to Snexiesos?
Whatever the hell Mag just said, asks, give us top 3 fuck, this is like Ask Ponies all over again. Fuck.
Basically, what's our top 3 favorite characters?
Yes, what is our top 3 favorite characters? I think I only have 3.
Oh, shut up. You have more than... you're such a
I never
butt.
get to voice them anymore, because everyone's like, voice the apple one or the rainbow one. And I'm like, okay. Or Vinyl. I do get asked for that.
So fine then, what's the order?
The order?
That you like to voice them in. Like, favorite-wise.
Fuck. Vinyl, Vinyl would probably be my top favorite one to voice. She's the easiest on my vocal cords. And she's just a fun character when I do get to voice her, especially like when she's crazy Vinyl. Like I used to do a few, we haven't done any crazy Vinyl stories, but like those are some of my fun ones. I would say then Applejack, just because like as the years have gone on, I feel like my Applejack voice has gotten better. I started watching Reba because I was just like, it's a wonderful show. I love that show. But like it pretty much is just Applejack.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just Applejack.
It's crazy how much she sounds like...
She sounds like Reba McEntire, how much she sounds like Applejack. So like as I was like watching that show and enjoying it, I really like kind of absorbed that as a sponge for that voice. And then Last Rainbow. As the years have gone on, it starts to hurt to voice her. I love voicing that stupid horse because she's just so much fun, especially when Mag writes her, because Mag writes are unhinged. So I get to have fun with it.
They're all unhinged. What are you talking about?
Right? But unfortunately, she's on the third because it hurts sometimes, especially if I haven't been like hydrating or I'm not taking care of, but it's like, we gotta voice this bitch. And I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna regret this. So
my favorite character to voice is Trixie. She is my favorite.
Your Trixie's so good.
I speak her around the house. I love her so much. My second favorite is Celestia.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, right?
I'm surprised.
Right? Selly, especially when I'm doing her for stuff I've actually written, she's such a meme. She's such a like practical jokester, and she I write her slightly like morally gray.
Yeah, you do.
She's so much fun, and she doesn't hurt my voice either. Third favorite? You know what? I don't do it often, but Granny.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm everyone's probably going, what about Pinkie? Pinkie takes a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Pinkie and Dash for us take a lot out of us.
Takes a lot.
It takes a lot.
And not just because she's a high like range. I have a high range. I you know, go listen to my Phantom songs. You know how high my range is. It's the energy a lot of times because Pinkie's very fast. And as I am bipolar, I really genuinely can only voice her when I'm on a high. Yeah, good luck getting... Oh, but I left out Rarity. I have to scrap the whole list.
Fuck Trixie. She can get booted.
No, it's still...
She can get booted down to 2.
No. It's Trixie, Rarity, Celestia.
Oh, Celestia got booted.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. No, I love Rarity. She's easy. She's fun.
It's not even that...
How did I not remember Rarity?
I don't know, because Rarity... She's probably sitting in the corner right now fucking insulted by the fact.
It's like, what's funny is that Tabitha voices Granny too. How did I think of Granny before? Whatever. This whole question is just ruined now. I just completely forgot about Rarity. Sean Horace 925 asks, do you guys still plan to make guest appearances at any more Brony conventions again soon? I think Lost's done. I'll be honest, I think I burnt myself out. And like I said, not saying that the conventions were bad or anything, but like it took a lot of work for me to go and do all those things. And a lot of times it's very flattering to be a community guest at a pony convention. It is very humbling. Mm-hmm. It's very like, wow, I can't believe we have enough support that people want us at those conventions. But you have to understand, they put you to work. Yep. Okay. Specifically BronyCon. BronyCon had us doing us to work. We did like 5 panels in a day. Back to back. Back to back. We had to send friends to go get us food so we could eat because they... And even then, fans would still come by. I mean, weren't you and I followed to the bathroom at one point? I was followed to the bathroom. Like, not in a bad way. No. I'm not saying I don't appreciate you guys. That's not what we're saying here. But like, this is the issue. I am already stressed out about trying to make content. I cannot deal with the convention on top of that. Yeah. Like, a bitch can't do that anymore. However, I miss them. I would go back. Well, it's not even that. I would go back if I just took the time to take care of myself. I think that's what it is. And maybe not be such a big part of like the actual convention. Like to enjoy it. To actually get to enjoy it, you know. But they put you to work. That's the which good for them. Yeah, good for them. I'm not arguing that. And plus it's not like it's not like they were bad to us. That's not what I'm saying. But for myself and my own health, I think it would depend on the convention for one. I will not name names, but there are certain conventions that we just have had poor experiences with and wouldn't want to go back to. And it would also depend on who wants us there and, you know,
what we were doing.
So if you really...
I think one of the biggest reasons why I would get so stressed out is because of the Movies and Pony Voices panels. We would get together before the panel to rehearse it. And it was like trying to juggle meeting fans, trying to do the panels, trying to do literal acting in front of everybody. It was a lot of things to juggle, and then not even having time to eat.
Yeah.
Not even having time to like have a bathroom break if a bitch needed it. Because we were like, there would be days we would be up at 10 going all the way till about midnight.
Yeah.
Like it was that level of insanity. And like I said, meeting all of you guys there at conventions was amazing. There were so many of you.
Don't take us wrong.
No.
Highlight of my life.
Yeah, like the
Highlight of my life.
The fact that we had lines wrapping up to just meet us was some of the most mind-boggling shit for us.
The fact that we got yelled at more than one occasion that we were a fire hazard is humbling and amazing at the same time. I will never forget the line of people to get into Pinkie Tails chanting Pinkie Tails. Someone took a video of literally how long the line was. It wrapped around like the room.
No, we had people sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
To try and sit. And we had one of the bigger rooms too at BronyCon that year. I remember.
It's
like it was
an incredible experience. I want to do another one, but it would need to be under the right circumstances. And I think you would do another one under the right circumstances.
Yes. I'm not like, the joke is what the VA for Trixie, she doesn't go to any conventions.
I want to meet Kathleen so
Kathleen
bad.
Barr does not go to any fucking conventions.
That is a life
But we
goal.
still love her. We still stan her. She is Trixie.
I love her.
But like, I get it. I finally understood now why certain people don't want to go to conventions anymore. Because for me personally, I get really overstimulated really fast. Because I don't want you guys seeing me a mess when I'm meeting you. Hell no. That's the because I get it. You're meeting me. I'm gonna give you a hug. We're gonna freaking take a picture, and I'm gonna, you're gonna tell me some wonderful things, and I'm, that's just how that shit goes.
Yeah.
But inside, I'm probably internally screaming because I haven't eaten.
We just need a break.
We just need a break. And, like I said, who knows? I would like to go under the right circumstances. Maybe if I wasn't going, maybe you host a panel and like we just go for like one damn thing and like a meetup and then that's it. Like I would love that.
Yeah, for sure.
Alice Snow 9232 asks, would you guys be cool with the idea of being hired for an audiobook narration?
This is not the first time we've been asked.
Oh, I've been asked this many times.
And the answer is always the same. It depends.
It depends, and if I have time, which right now I don't have time.
Yep.
So lovely idea. I would, if I had the time, but
there's no harm in asking.
Oh no, yeah, there's no harm in asking
at all. But just understand, if this is like, if you really have an audiobook that you're like, I want you to narrate Lost and I want you to voice Mag, don't be offended at a no. It's not because it's,
Oh no, it says nothing. It's not about the quality of anything.
No,
it's literally,
no.
For myself personally, I do not have time.
Yeah.
I just do not.
Our friends and collaborators will tell you, wrangling us is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, to even just hang out with us.
Yeah.
Which is why, like I said, the IRL friends sometimes get more of a chance because they can physically wrangle me.
Oh, my sister especially, she has a key.
Yeah, she'll come over.
She'll just come over and be like,
what's going on?
You guys haven't been seen in public. What's going on?
What's going on?
Look for those people.
Yeah,
I am so sorry. 3175 asks, are there fics you'll never read? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, there are.
There are a few. I made one as an April Fool's joke, Sweet Apple Massacre.
We will never do that one.
We will never do that one. And I don't need to explain it. Don't go looking it up. It's horrible. It is probably one of the worst ones. Another one that I will probably never do, but I know has been requested into the ground, is Shirley's Garden. As the years have gone on, I really try to stay away from the kid characters in terms of like what they're going through. Because to me, childhood should be, like, maybe it's also my compartmentalization of all these kids that were clicking on my videos and then screaming, oh my God, what is this? Maybe it's also that. But like, I tried to stay to the adult characters. And unfortunately with Shirley's Garden, it's pretty much Saw, but with the kids. And I'm not about that. Like, we'll do Saw with the ponies. We did it with the friendship test. But there's a whole other level of like fuckery that I'm just like, no, that's not okay to show.
And it's not everything's black and white.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote Diamond Tiaras does death in when they deflate.
Yeah.
But as I've said,
it's the shit post.
It's a shit post.
You and Pitch literally die at the end.
Yes.
Like, it's literally not supposed to be taken seriously.
Right.
I feel like there's nuance that we don't talk about when it comes to certain topics that should and shouldn't be covered. And I feel like for me, myself personally, I am not comfortable doing that. I really am not. The other... Or no, go on.
Oh, I laughed because I know one, and it's another one you've also parodied or like April Fooled, and that's My Little Dashie.
Oh, I just won't read that because I don't like it. I don't like the story. It's okay if you guys like it, but I don't like it. And maybe it's because I voice Rainbow. Yeah. And I've gotten way too many weird messages over the years of like, be my rainbow. And I'm like, delete. And it's weird. Like, why? I get it. I know you're lonely, but then go outside. It's okay. Like, I get it. Okay. Maximum Offense says... Have either of you, in the event of any attempts for platform censorship, have either or both of you made archives of your work /reading/animations?
Ask her.
So this is the tech question. Yes, actually, I have archives of both of our channels on external hard drives right now. I am neurotic. She can tell you.
I am not.
No.
I am a mess.
She's a mess, but she's gotten better with her organization over the years.
Better,
because
great.
When I first met her, her desktop looked like
I am chaos. I don't know how many times
so many icons. Every bit of that desktop was covered in icons, and I've never seen that before. Like, it was horrible.
Says the woman who has how many unread emails?
Yeah, because most of them are spam.
Oh my gosh.
But like, I have an archive of it. I know somebody has already made archives of my channel on the Internet Archive.
Some of mine too, huh?
Some of your stuff too. I do have it, but if you guys want to archive it, I have no problem with that, actually. I don't have gripes on that. Yeah, because you're right. And the idea of a platform censorship, because I feel like that's the only way that the channel would have an issue. Mm-hmm. And lately with the way YouTube's been, yeah, I don't. This is a very nice question. Thank you for asking. I do have archives, but if you guys want to archive on Internet Archive, go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you guys. Yeah, because I know how special these stories are to you.
I agree. Hey, so remember a few months back, I was like, we have merch. Well, I did say it was temporary. So this is the last chance, as 1 week from today, these designs are going to be gone forever. And since you lovely listeners/viewers are actually watching this podcast, you get an extra incentive. Surprise! A discount! Use the code LostMag5ever. Get it? It's a 5 because this is our 5-year anniversary for an extra 10% off of your purchase. Get it? It's a 10 because that's how many years that we've been a couple. Clever, huh? Link in the description, and I think at the end of the video, and maybe even below it. I'm not entirely sure how that works. Use your brains. Okay, bye! The next segment is advice questions, which, not that we haven't been
apparently
giving advice.
A lot of you need advice.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. It's valid. There's nothing... asking advice from people who've lived life experiences is a wonderful thing, as long as those people are willing to talk about it.
Yeah. Mad King of Hearts asks, what advice would you give to someone writing their first grimdark fanfic? My personal pet peeve when it comes to MLP Grimdarks is characterization. You don't really know what those characters would be like in a grimdark setting, right? Like, the characters haven't experienced horror to that level.
No, I feel like for every time someone says so-and-so is out of character, if they've already gone through trauma, that changes a person.
Yes.
Nobody seems to remember that part when it comes to the grimdark aspects of things.
Right.
Trauma changes you.
It'd be very important to understand the characters you're writing about. So since grimdark is usually associated with My Little Pony, you really have to understand the character that it's about and utilize the pieces that they've already given you into the grimdark aspect. I think it's very important that readers don't have to suspend their belief too much. They just have to sort of understand the world that you're creating without being taken too far out of the realm of possibility.
Like, it's funny that you bring that up because you have to know your character. I feel like that's one of the issues with horror sometimes, especially like not MLP. I'm talking about like just general horror, is the idea that in order to tell tell a story within especially specifically in a movie, you have to like these characters, give a damn about these characters, so that when they start going through the fucked up shit, you're like, oh my god, it means something. And that's why like a lot of B slasher films just completely throw that trope out the window and say, it's okay to not give a shit about anyone here. It like Saw. So I'm not saying that Saw is a B slasher movie, but it definitely follows that formula of who the fuck cares who the hell this is? How are we gonna kill them in a cool way?
We're lucky as fanfic writers that we have an established set of characters.
Yes.
You don't have to waste any time describing the characters or the settings in detail unless it's something new, right? Like everybody can bring up a mental picture or even Google what does Carousel Boutique look like,
and they'll know.
And they'll know. To some extent, you want to still describe what's going on around you. That is your crutch, and that's a good thing. I just really want to emphasize characterization as one of the most important things.
The one thing in my head that just keeps screaming is don't write grimdark. But no, that's not the right answer. I think personally when it comes to grimdark writing, you should be aware of certain limitations of areas that you're going to go to and be prepared for the backlash. Because I feel like a lot of the times too, people write shit, especially like in the internet, and they don't realize the ripples that might potentially happen if you write it this way.
We have a really good example, actually. So I'm very obviously proud of another Apple Sleep experiment.
How many times can we say it in this podcast?
However, there are still a good number of people who did not like the ending. They didn't like the ending of the first one. They didn't like the ending of the second one. They thought they were out of character, and you know what? That's valid. You really can't please everybody. And getting through the feedback to see what's constructive and then what's just visceral, like, that's hard. But it's important.
One thing as a writer, I think that a lot of people, or even a content creator, you need to realize that not everybody's gonna like your stuff. And that's okay, because that's the risk you have to take. If everybody liked it, well, I don't know what that would say.
I feel like if everybody liked everything you did, you wouldn't grow.
Yeah.
Because why would you change if everybody liked it?
Yep.
It's important to continually grow and to change. Do you think I'm happy with every piece of criticism that comes my way? No.
Hell no. We're still human.
But I look at it, I find the theme of it, and I think, what can I learn? What can I glean? Do I agree with it? Yes? No? Why not? I mean, you're right. I think feedback is a huge part of
the writing process.
And I'm lucky to have you as the first person to give me said feedback. If you don't, and you put it out to the general internet audience and say, okay, give me feedback. How can I make this better? And then use that first post as like a first draft, that's cool.
I wouldn't suggest that. I really would not suggest that. I would suggest getting some editors. That's probably another big piece of advice too. Allow yourself to find someone that you trust to help you with the creative process in terms of like editing and maybe fleshing out ideas. We're quite fortunate that we have a couple friends that we kind of ping ideas off of. I feel like the writing process, especially like when you really take that step back, it's a melting pot of all these wonderful things that a lot of other people can bring in, but there's gonna be one person who assembles it all. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I do think though, as a writer, you need to leave yourself open for the idea of editing it. The amount of fanfics I have seen over the years where they're like, this is my first fanfic, and I read it and I'm like, where is the spag? And spag is spelling, punctuation,
and grammar.
I know that at least here in the United States, the American education system has failed, but I also know that Google has a spell check and does actually have the things that will tell you whether or not grammatically something is right or not. Or, there's tons of other things that you could use to make sure that the spag is there. But like, I'll be honest, that is one of the biggest reasons why I don't do certain other fanfics as well, is because of how just edit it, okay? It's not that hard, okay? The imaginary Kieran asks, if you could go back to your younger selves when you started making MLP videos, what would be the biggest piece of advice you would give? I think for me, if I was to go back to younger me, the hell, 10 years ago me, let's just fucking, why not? 10 years ago me. And like, what would I tell her? I'd be like, don't give a shit what anyone else says. Just fucking keep going. Just keep going. Just keep doing
I'm in the
this.
exact same boat. I think that to some extent, the way that our content has evolved, it happened for a reason. If I started strong, I wouldn't have been able to improve.
I'll be honest, there were moments in the early years where I was listening to way too many people. And it was, everybody had an opinion about how certain things were supposed to sound, and everybody had an opinion about how people were supposed to act, and like in terms of acting, like this character, when you're performing this character, you don't sound good, or you sound monotone, or all this other fucking bullshit that I've had over the years get thrown at me, or how dare you fucking kill the ponies. As the years went on, I just kind of kept my head down and focused on myself. I wish I had done that in the earlier years more, was kind of focused more on myself, because I realized once I did that, that's when I made the cool shit. That's when I finally just started not giving a shit what anybody was telling me, and I was like, let's go.
I think the only other piece of advice I'd give myself is be more open to change.
Yeah.
I am not good at change. It took me a longer than I care to admit, time to go from laptop to a PC, and from, a mouse on a screen to an actual drawing tablet and things like that.
Well, it's also the idea too, like, I also don't want to knock people who can't have that. We're not saying that you need to have the shiniest tools to create art. That's not what we're saying. But in terms of like making shit easier for yourself, I remember you were using, like I said, that welcome tablet that's like fucking like the size of like a chapter book, like a paper book. It was tiny.
Yeah.
And
I made it work.
You made it work. You made it fucking work. And also on top of that too, when I think of change, I also think about the idea too that you, as the years have gone on, you've really taught yourself a lot. You've really got, like, that's the other thing too, like her and we are self-taught. We go find tutorials, or I do research, or I am like, I want to do this, and I fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
That's how I've always been when it comes to the creative process.
I agree. Dragon Quill 3182 asks, do either of you have any advice on how to get through writers/art block? I think my opinion's different than yours.
Yeah.
In this one.
I think I'm almost positive it is.
My advice is to do something else entirely, to be honest with you. Depending on how long the block is happening. If you've been doing hobbies, playing games, watching movies or whatever, and it's like, it doesn't work anymore, I still have the writer's block, what do I do? I think at that point, then
my advice comes into play.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Because my advice is just do it. Don't even, like, it doesn't matter if it ends up anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's even like, because like, okay, for myself personally as a writer, I have plenty of drafts of things I've written. I just did it, and then I was like, well, I don't really like the way this sounds, and then I just left it. That's actually happened a lot. But in the grand scheme of things, I've learned, at least from my own writer's block, if I just keep dwelling on it and don't like it, if I feel like I'm having that block, I'll never get it done until I finally just sit my ass down and do it.
I think another piece of advice on that too is take a step back from yourself and realize it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, having an artist block is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, hell, I would say a majority of 2022 for me was a block because of the fact I was so sick. It's okay to have moments where you're struggling within your own creativity and even feeling insecure. I feel like a lot of the times, at least for myself, my own blocks with creativity come from the idea of, well, fuck, that would be stupid if I did that. Or it's a lot of self-doubt that kind of gets drilled into my head, and I'm doubting whether or not I can even do the thing that I want to do creatively.
And we've done it for each other. We've done for, in the sense of, then take a step back, Lost. Is this really important? Is the whole world going to end if you don't get this out by this exact date? And that usually works on anything except for Halloween.
Yeah.
It's the one exception.
It is.
You put yourself through the ringer to make sure things get out on Halloween Day. So we're not talking about
I know why everyone comes back to the yard, okay? I know. I'm not dumb.
But, comma, Anything other than that, you have to do it to me too.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, I wrote down in the calendar I wanted to get this done by this day and it's not happening and I'm trying to scramble to finish and you're like, why?
Well, I think that's more of the production aspect. I think they're just talking about the sense of like the block creativity.
That's how I am with, like, I have deadlines from when I'm supposed to have certain things written.
But let's say, for instance, like, I'm also taking it a little bit of a step further. What if you have no ideas to create something? Because that is legitimately what an art block is. One thing that I've done that genuinely helped is, I know on DeviantArt they used to have this. It was called 100 Themes, and it's basically I've seen it. Inktober's another thing that I've seen do this, but it's basically like every day you draw. I'm not saying to do that. Okay, that's not what I'm saying, or write. But the themes are actually quite nice because it gives you a structure to actually work off. Whether that's if you're an artist, whether you're a writer, whether you're a photographer, whatever the hell you're doing in your medium of art. If you have some sort of structure of a theme or a prompt, that could help pull you out of the actual creative block, and then you can go into whatever you need to do. Acidic Redemption asks, what is the best way to get into narrating stuff? Well,
I mean, you pretty much take the floor here.
It's my namesake after all.
Says the Applejack. I mean, the only time I've ever narrated is because it's a...
No, I pulled you for narrations. You were in a few creepypastas and shit like that.
I don't.
Whatever. I love your narrator voice.
Whatever.
Okay, I love it. Anyways, but okay, for you to get in the best way... Well, shit. I know this is, I'm probably going to sound like a broken record through this whole segment, but it's really just doing it. My first ever fanfic readings or any narrations I did, they were garbage compared to what I do now, because I didn't know what I was doing with the voice. I didn't know where I was going. I was reading it I read it like the Reddit stories I keep hearing that Mag watches.
I love Reddit
or
stories.
Or the AI fucking, like, it doesn't sound, it doesn't sound right, okay? Like,
Humble beginnings,
okay? But as the years have gone on, I've really, I practiced, and that's how I was able to really get the voice to where I want it now, my narrator voice, because the narrator voice is sort of a character within my acting repertoire. Because I have my country accent, which is AJ. I have a raspy voice, which is like Rainbow. And then I have this, I don't even know how to describe it.
Deep, sexy, losty voice.
Okay, that's how she describes it, but that's the narrator voice. And it's sort of a character in its own right. And I think when you're the best way to get into narration is pick up a mic, start doing it, find stories that you want to read, okay? Because obviously, you could pick up any damn thing, but the best way to do it is to read the stuff that you want to read and just keep practicing.
Picking back off of what you just said, or piggybacking, whatever, treat the narrator like it is a character.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, and again, I'm incredibly biased because my wife is a narrator. There are a lot of people who narrate stories that I can tell they're just reading off of a screen, and it is boring.
It's boring.
If you care enough about the story and you can, or even if you don't and you just act it, you put some sort of emphasis on certain parts of the story, or I love how you narrate differently between a comedy and a grimdark.
Oh yeah.
You know?
That's the other thing too, I would say, is that when you're starting off with the narration is to make sure of the tone. Tone is important when you're actually narrating a story, because I'm not going to use the same tone I would be using for a sad fic compared to a crack fic or a comedy fic. The tone's going to be different. And if you're not aware of those things, your audience they might not care. It's a lot when it comes to narration. But my biggest suggestion, like I said, find a story that you like. Make sure that when you're narrating that you're clear, you're concise, and that you're enunciating your words. That's another thing too. Nobody wants to hear the slurs. They're coming to you so that they don't have to read it. So make sure you enunciate and things like that.
Mew Mundino 22 asks, tips for keeping a relationship fun?
This feels what is it? 5 tips to keep it fun in your relationship. That's what this sounds.
Oh gosh. I know, and I feel so underqualified, right? I'm like, why does anyone care what I think?
You're right. Well, I don't know. We've been together for 10 years. Clearly we're doing something right.
I will say, collaborating with you in cooking has been fun. fun.
Yeah, actually. Like, there's a
Come
whole...
up with your own recipe for something that you've made forever. That's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. We know enough about taste profiles, the two of us.
Yeah.
That we know when something is going to be cool to add to a recipe and when not. There are some things that I never knew. For example, I didn't know sprinkle a little bit of sugar on your onions when you're cooking them down before you put them in a recipe because it caramelizes them.
Yep.
And, like, I would never have known that had we not started.
When you're sauteing them, by the way.
You see, she's the one who puts it all together, okay?
I'm the one that's figured out all the weird things about what to do with cooking and stuff like that. Like, Lexi got me a Dutch oven for fucking Christmas. This was this past year, huh?
Yeah.
And I've been teaching myself how to make French onion soup. I've been learning. I just figured out like this really nice recipe for like a baked potato soup.
Yeah. And everybody's got to eat. So it's like, it's taking something that was a chore and turning it into
Something fun
and experimental. I think that's my biggest...
Because that's the other thing, too. We've had a few dud.
yeah.
Not just the one about you talking about the mac and cheese.
No.
Like, we tried to figure out how to make shrimp wontons, I think, because you can't have the wonton crust because of your gluten allergy.
Yep.
So we used rice paper, but I didn't know how that shit worked. I didn't watch enough stupid YouTube videos and figure that out. No. So when we finally made them, they just looked like this fucking mushy mess.
They were so sad looking,
But they
however,
tasted good.
they tasted
good.
so good.
They tasted so good.
See, and I was thinking more the onion rings. I tried twice to make my own onion rings, and both times was a disaster.
She was using gluten-free panko flakes and stuff, and
Absolute
I even
disaster.
tried to help her, and just it did not work out.
No,
it really didn't. We need
So,
to,
failures can be funny.
Oh, yeah, failures are funny. What are you talking about?
You know, I still ate the disaster onion rings as much as I could because I'm like, I don't want to waste them. But
Right.
I think that's what it is. Take something that you usually do, that you're used to doing, and change it up.
It's
Seriously.
also the idea too of within the relationship, you know what's important to that other person, and maybe it's also a way of sharing time with them within their activity that they love. I know one thing that we do is Mag likes to watch me play video games sometimes.
I do,
Because like, don't get me wrong, I play a lot of games, but I'll get on a Discord call with her and I'll share screens. She'll be in the bedroom.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I want to be lounging in bed and watching something. I might as well watch her. So yeah, we Discord call ourselves from the same house and just...
Which is funny because that's how we started.
It is.
That is literally how we started our relationship, was just through Skype calls. And now that I'm playing Skyrim again, I was telling her, I'm like, don't you remember when we do this shit? I'd be on a Skype call playing.
Also, I really like to incorporate little surprises.
Oh, yeah.
Little non-committal, non-two-time consuming surprises. For example, we talked about the cyst. Right before I left to go home after having helped her post-cyst, I littered her entire room with Post-it notes. And each Post-it note had something different on it. And sometimes it was just a word. And sometimes it was actual, like, I love you because of this.
Yeah, but you do that now. You literally, okay, we were talking about the 10-year anniversary thing.
Yeah.
You packed me a lunch to go to Lexi's because I was going to be there for like 10 fucking hours because we were trying to finish the game. But like, you packed me a lunch and you put Post-it notes on every single little thing you packed. It was like...
And then I made them puns, too.
Yeah, and you made them puns.
Weren't you going to play Silent Hill 2?
Yeah, we were playing Silent Hill 2,
So
or Lexi was.
It was like, this is hotter than Maria in her dress.
Yeah.
Or like, just little...
Just shit like that.
Yeah.
And you've done it too when I have to go visit my grandma. You'll pack my suitcase if I'm going by myself with tons of Post-it notes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's... Like, that one specifically, whenever I think about it, it's like, it's such a...
She keeps a good chunk of them, too.
Oh, I do.
Or at least tries to.
No, I keep them. I got them in like...
There was the one that went through the wash. And
Oh, God, I was so upset. And that wasn't a Post-it note, though. That was a note you had just left to me.
Yeah, that's true. But something you did for me in the similar vein is you wrote all these wonderful words on our mirror.
Oh, yeah, with whiteboard markers.
Well, yeah.
Because
I was feeling really down about myself, and so I went into the bathroom, and here's all these words that she associates with me. Everything positive to combat all of the negativity in my brain at that time. And they're still up.
Yeah.
I mean, Lexi had to move them aside so I could see my face when I'm actually, doing my hair. But all those words are still there, and it means a lot. Silly little things that take 10 minutes of your time really do bring an element to your relationship that
you probably wouldn't even suspect or even know.
We joke all the time that the things that mean the most to her are things I've done that I didn't realize were going to mean the most to her.
Yeah.
For example, reversion.
Yeah.
Reversion was one part of a 12 Days of Christmas, the very first time we were together.
Actually, that first December we were together, you were like, we're going to do 12 Days of Christmas.
So I was, one day was drawing fan art, one day was playing a game, whatever.
No, you made a plushie for me.
Oh gosh, we don't talk about that. It is a nightmare. No one sees it.
No, I still have it.
I know you do.
And it is the fuggliest looking thing. It is
so
mine,
bad.
And I love it.
But I wrote lyrics to Reversion as just one of those random days of Christmas. And look where it is now.
Yeah, for real.
Like, you never know. You never know what little gesture will mean the world.
Snowflake Devils asks, do you have any advice for someone who wants to do voice acting?
So the only advice we can really give is voice acting for yourself or collaborators on YouTube. I know practically nothing.
Yeah.
When it comes to professional voice acting.
Like, we don't do dubbing. We don't do any of that.
We have friends who do.
Oh yeah, we've got plenty of friends that have gone into professional stuff, which good for them. I'm really proud for them. But that's not what we're trying to do. In fact, I would say like what we're trying to do is that we're trying to go into story crafting. That's what we're doing.
We do it for ourselves and the people that, we collaborate with and all that. So if you're looking for like voice acting in a professional sense, not us.
Not us. But if you are someone who wants to get into voice acting, the biggest advice I could say is that when you're first starting out and you're first doing your acting, I've noticed, at least from what I've seen with most people, there are a few exceptions to this rule, but most people underact. They are too afraid to go too far because they're afraid it might become overacting. There's only a few situations that I've seen that be the opposite case, but most people that I've worked with, it's just you need a little bit more oomph in the voice, or you need to get a little bit more because whatever the scene's asking for. Are you taking it too far? Are you taking it too little?
So I have kind of a side to that. In all of the amateur, and I'm one of them, voice actors that I've worked with, people who have never voice acted before, I used to do casting calls for Pinkie Tales. 99.9% of the time, the submissions I got that weren't chosen was because they weren't pushing far enough.
Yep.
They were holding back. I think it's nerves. I think it's embarrassment.
Yeah.
But if you think you're not going far, this is just me. You can take her advice, but my advice is if you think you're going hard, go harder. and honestly, do it in a space where you feel comfortable. For the longest time, I couldn't record in front of her anything at all. I couldn't sing in front of her. I couldn't voice act Pinkie in front of her because I was just so self-conscious. And it wasn't until, after the fact that she could give me pointers or things. I'm not that way anymore. But push your boundaries. Push beyond your own boundaries. I think that would help you a lot. And then the other really big thing, the equipment you're using. I'm not saying go out and buy a $400 microphone. I'm saying...
No, in fact, the first episodes of PTS were literally recorded on an iPod.
An iPod, not even an iPhone, an iPod.
That's what I'm saying. You can record on a potato. That's my joke of poop mics. If you're aware of how to work within those limitations.
Avoid headsets.
Yeah, don't use headsets.
Phones are actually pretty decent these days.
Qualities on phones are actually pretty well if they're done right. And you need to make sure you're not in a noisy environment. And that could even be fans running on your computer. That could be if you have fans in your bathroom.
Someone watching TV in the next room.
Oh my God.
I can't tell you how many times. Yeah.
So many auditions that we've gotten over the years of people I'm an audition. I can just hear this episode of Family Guy in the fucking background. And I'm just oh honey, why?
Yeah.
It's just no. But stuff like that. Be aware of your surroundings when you're recording.
And as content directors, as project leads, I will tell you, I look for acting before I look for accuracy.
Yep.
And I cannot speak for anyone else besides myself and maybe Lost, but I know I have heard similar sentiments from other project leads.
Yeah.
So,
because it's the idea of does the emotions land? Especially like because I do grimdark. If I have an actor who isn't hitting the marks, it may take everyone out of the scene.
Yep.
And I want everybody to feel like they're there, so everybody's got to be on point, and I don't give a shit if they don't sound like them.
And over the years, I have seen so many people compliment our interpretations of characters. I personally don't sound like Andrea Libman. I know this. I've known this from the beginning. But my Pinkie is my own.
Yeah.
And you know it's Pinkie Pie. And you know I'm gonna act my ass off. Her AJ is so much deeper and so much more depth than Ashley Ball's. Because again, Ashley Ball and Andrea were voicing for a children's show. We're taking it to a step further into more adult themes. But your AJ's beloved.
Yeah, it's crazy when I get compliments about that. Like, I've had some people like just flat out being like, your AJ is like
top tier.
That's weird to me because when I first got into this fandom, it was my AJ was shit. My AJ, my RD was shit. Everyone told me that up and down.
Because in the early days of the fandom, it was only accuracy people looked for. Mm-hmm. They didn't care about the acting. They only wanted to know, can you sound like the character? And I think in the world we live in now, especially with AI, a computer can
It's not even that. All of those people that were more focused on accuracy, or not accuracy, like if they sounded like the characters, they've all just migrated to AI, and I'm just like, okay, cool, you go have fun over there.
Yeah.
Because I don't hear that anymore over here. Because I don't care. I know for myself personally, I am acting my ass off, and that's all I care about.
And as long as you believe it, then that's a successful role. Cryptic Crimson 080 asks, what do you think is the most effective / easiest way to think of and create a story? For myself, I like to draw from
other media.
Well, duh.
You want to know how most of the shit comes from us? Like when we're like thinking of ideas, it's we saw something and thought we could make that better. We could do it better and make a pony.
And guess what, guys? I want someone in the comments to tally how many times I bring up Apple Sleep. I am genuinely wanting to know how many times it comes up.
Fucking hell.
The first Apple Sleep was inspired by, but not a carbon copy of Russian Sleep. The second Apple Sleep, I don't think has like a...
No. It does not have anything
just from me.
It's so deviated from the whole thing of what Russian Sleep is. That's probably
one of the most original pieces, and it's still technically just a fanfic. Both ways are good.
I would say one of the things that I do as a writer, because like I said, I may not share everything that I'm writing, but I write a lot. One of the things I love to do is to take existing ideas and flip them on their head. I love that because we already know certain tropes and certain things that we know beat-wise for media.
Every story is built with tropes.
Yes.
Every story in some way has been told.
Yes.
So what makes your story different from all the ones that are similar to it, right? I think of all of the millions of adaptations of Cinderella and Snow White over the years. There are so many pieces of media that piggyback, specifically Cinderella. There's a movie called Another Cinderella Story.
Isn't that the one with Hilary Duff?
Yes.
Yeah.
They make mention, a Cinderella story, whatever.
That was her in her prime. I'm sorry.
They acknowledge it's a tale as old as time. That's another one that's done a lot.
Beauty and the Beast is another one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's that really bad one with Vanessa Hudgens.
I've watched it. You haven't. Beastly is what it's called.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
I know it's horrible.
But like... that they're doing exactly what I'm giving the advice for. What's the trope? What do you add to it? Mm-hmm. What's your twist? I adore Ever After. Favorite Cinderella movie of all time. And the twist on that one is they took the magic and said, what if it really could have existed back then?
Yeah.
They made Leonardo da Vinci the fairy godmother. Like it's just so cool to me.
Yeah.
They went from fairy tale to this could have happened. And for that specific movie, it worked.
I feel like the other thing too is understanding within yourself. You want to write what you know, but you also need to be aware of the idea of within that story, like Mag was mentioning, the tropes and like definitely subvert expectations. You really want to, you want to think outside the box. One exercise I used to do with Mag a lot was that we would take certain ideas from other media and we would discuss it and almost like kind of like come up with an outline of how would this be? What would this be? And like we would talk it out. Another thing too is having a collaborator. I think one of the biggest reasons why Mag and I are able to create these stories that we do is because we are using each other as springboards.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's, I mean, what? The guys who did Game of Thrones, they're a team.
Yeah. No, it's I would definitely say the more people involved in at least brainstorming, the better. Now, when it comes to actually putting finger to key or pen to paper, that can be,
one person.
Right. But
I think the idea, and also too, there is the opposite end of too many people helping you.
True.
I would say keep it to around 2 or 3. Don't go more than that.
Right.
Or even 1. Kirby Van Pelt asks, do you both have any sort of advice for anyone who wants to do content for fun or for the shiggles, if you will, and not make it a full-time job or to quote unquote be famous?
That was how we started.
That's exactly how we started.
That's how we started.
I just did this because I liked the idea of telling stories. I liked the idea of making audiobooks because I saw everyone else doing it and I was like, that's cool, let's do that. But my history with YouTube goes even further than that. I've been on this platform for fucking 18 years now? Mm-hmm. It's been a hot minute. I've been here, not on this channel, mind you, but on the platform, even making content. My early days literally go all the way back to AMVs of Final Fantasy 13. That is how far back this shit goes. And I've always liked the idea of crafting videos for the fun of it. I've always been into the idea of making something for people to consume. I mean, that's how I see social media. It's not supposed to be like, I know this sounds weird, but you're not supposed to be the content. It's called social media. And when I think of media, I think of stories. So why wouldn't I want to tell stories?
To go into something with the idea of making it your job or to be famous, that's the flaw. That's the flaw that people go into certain things now, especially in this day and age. And I think that's what makes things so disingenuous. If you do something for the shiggles, it comes off as much more genuine, and then you don't have to answer to anyone.
I would say just do it. I know I've been saying that over and over for a good chunk of this fucking advice, but it's the truth. Like I said, I started off doing AMVs or anime music videos, in case you don't know that. Then I went into doing like vlogs and let's plays, and then I evolved into doing audiobooks of fanfics. Like, it was not like a single trajectory. So maybe one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you, especially if you're not going to make this for famous or just to have fun, be open to the different mediums of video making.
That's true.
There are so many different ways that you can make content. You can turn on a camera and just talk about something you care about, or you could take a song and edit footage to it so it feels like a music video, or you could just make a shit post and make a YouTube poop for all I care. Like, it's the idea that's why this platform is so brilliant in its own right, is because the possibilities are endless as long as you know how to make the video. And maybe one of the other things too, get yourself familiar with editing software, because obviously you're gonna have to make it. I know right now it is so ridiculously easy to make stuff now because of TikTok. But for myself personally, Mag and I still use Vegas. We use Vegas as our main editing program. But like, a lot of that was self-taught. So be patient with yourself, have fun with it, and don't be afraid to take chances in the creative medium of video creation.
Yep. Mechanical Nightmare Fox MNF, say that 5 times fast, asks, do you have any advice for wanting to be an art director? How do you find people to form a team that helps you and you help them? This is something that occurred for me over time. So the advice I give, the biggest one is going to be patience. Mm-hmm. Patience and respect. I've said it in other podcasts. I've said it in live streams. It always comes back to respecting other people. Mm-hmm. Every time. Every single time. And it doesn't matter how you compensate them. Respect first. First and foremost, period. Like, you can quote me on that. So getting into the nitty-gritty details, specifically an art director. So for PTS, the first one, I learned a lot. I learned what to do and what not to do when it came to inviting other artists into the project. And a lot of the ways that I learned how to be an art director is just from my own persnickety, I guess, attention to detail. Over the years, it's kind of become a process where my art docs for any given project are anywhere from 5 to 10 times the length of the actual fic. Either a reading or an audio drama or whatever it is. And that's because I want the pieces of art to be cohesive. So they need to know what details need to be in their art that makes it, match with the one before and after. But at the same time, give them enough creative freedom to be able to express themselves too.
I would say the best analogy for it is you give them the bare bones, but not even assembled. You give them the bones and then you say, assemble it yourself.
Right.
That's what I would say.
However, I always provide the pieces.
Yeah.
Meaning, if a character is new or wearing something different or looks anyway different, I have some kind of a reference for them. I have references for the setting. I have references for the props. I mean, it's sprawling. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work, but the artists appreciate it. I know they do. I've been told up and down that the way that I go about it makes a lot less anxiety for them, because then they don't have to worry too much about whether or not their art fits, whether or not they're doing it the right way. Because that's just my personal, I love different art styles. That is one of my favorite things, especially about this fandom. Everybody's art style is different.
But somehow within the project, it all melds together to make a beautiful thing.
Right.
And that's the beauty of that. That's why your art docs are so special, is because you do give them that freedom. And then every artist has their chance to shine.
Yes.
Yes. But the thing is that you didn't learn that overnight. That's 10 years of experience of how many projects under your belt that you've had to give the art direction for.
Yes. Another thing, there's a fine line between being pushy and being firm. I think that you need to set enough space of a deadline to match the art that you're asking for. If, for PTS, if I'm asking for anywhere from 8 to 10 images, that needs to be reflected by saying 2 to 3 months. If it's just a single art piece, I don't think it's wildly, bad to say I need 1 month and then, get this art piece done. Also, engaging with the artists and talking to them and saying, how long do you think you need is another thing.
I would say also being respectful to their life. Because one thing I've learned over the years is that when it comes to artists, life happens. Things happen, and sometimes things will fall through and they won't hit the deadline. And it's your job as a director to make sure that you've compensated for that, where you've planned it so far ahead in advance, so where if something does fall, you can make sure that you can either do it yourself or pull someone else.
And be very, very, very understanding. I say this too to my artists. Life before ponies every time.
Yeah.
Every single time. I want their art to be fun. If they're not having fun doing art for a project of mine, I don't want them to do it. I don't ever want them to feel like they can't just leave and worry that I'm going to be mean or angry for it. Because I'm not. I get it. Yeah, if it gets down to the wire and it's supposed to come out next week and there's an art piece missing, yeah, I scramble a little bit, but I've learned over the years how to kind of make up for that. Sometimes you go super zoomed in shots of a hoof,
Oh no, there's tons of workarounds. Over the years, I've learned that if you only have one image, but you need to make that shit stretch, you do things. You zoom in, you do pan shots. There's tons of different ways to make something dynamic within your video editing program so that it's still captivating and engaging to your audience, but they wouldn't know that it's one fucking image.
Exactly. Because if you show close-ups of different parts of the image, but you never show it all together, how would they ever...
Yeah.
They'd never suspect.
But that's also something, too, that you would learn as a video editor. I don't think that's something even within the art director aspect.
True, but it's one of the aspects of being an art director is, like you said, it's planning for misfortunes.
Because they're going to happen no matter what you do.
And then finding people, that's different.
So hosting casting calls... I would say.
Yes, that's definitely one. But make sure they know your expectations. I usually have like a list of here's what I, need before I just put it out and say I need an artist. I actually have because there are a lot of, and I love every single one of you who have ever tried to be an artist, and many, many, many of you who are of so much talent, and we just can't have you all. It's just genuine. It's overwhelming.
Oh no, it is. After Apple Sleep, the amount of messages, comments, and emails that I got from people wanting to be a part of the project kind of blew my other projects, really blew my mind. And unfortunately, I was so overwhelmed that I had to unplug for a while because I was just like, oh, wow.
Our art team becomes our little online family. And so a lot of times they want to return. And if you just don't have enough art to extend out to new people, it's hard. It's hard to invite new artists into the fold when, And it's not that we're saying to there are so many of you guys that have poked me that I'm just like, crap, I really would love to work with you. But it's also I don't have any projects at the moment. I don't have something going on. Mm-hmm. And it's just, like I said, it's really humbling to see the eagerness. I really, really do. And who knows, maybe somewhere down the line, we will hold auditions for more artists. I can already think of a couple ideas, but I'm not going to state them here.
Yeah, we're not stating them here.
And then have you guys be disappointed. But reaching out to other people, there's no harm in asking.
But don't be upset. And don't be upset and don't be pushy when people say no, because it is still within their right to say no.
Right.
I think one of the biggest things that we talked about was the idea that if you're struggling to find people, make sure you have a portfolio of things that you've created on your own.
Show them why they should work with you.
Yeah, it's about the idea of kind of marketing yourself on some level, because I've had tons of people over the years be like, come join my project. And then I go to their channel, there's nothing. And then I go look up their name and there's nothing. And I'm just like, I don't know if I should be joining this project or not, because I don't even know if you're capable of finishing it. And unfortunately, my time is kind of precious because of my own mental health and because of all the projects I do. So if I devote myself to something, I need to make sure that director has a track record of getting it done. And if they don't have anything to show,
you really have to have something to put yourself out there. You're selling yourself as the art director, and they're the clients.
Yeah.
Popular. You're gonna be popular. I'll spread the news far and wide that you cheat and lied, and a guiltless girl was blamed. Singing like a siren song, I'll charm you till you lay alone. Of glory inside, it's giving us our light, it's shining through our eyes.
We're on the last section.
Oh my God, if you're still here, you're cool.
You are.
You're so cool.
Why? Why are you still here?
Right? For real. I'm sorry. I hope you're pausing and going and doing things, or go touch some grass. Bulbasaur617 asks, if you two are transported to any horror media, whether game, movie, fanfic, etc., what world would you guys rather be in and why?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh God, why? Well, wait, okay.
Because then I can just leave. I wouldn't stay there at night.
No, we wouldn't. But with the pizza, we could try the pizza.
Dude, that pizza looked bomb.
That did. I just wouldn't go anywhere near the animatronics.
Yeah, no. Why would you?
Well, but that would imply we knew.
See, but we're also adults.
Yeah, we're adults.
The animatronics wouldn't be attracted to us anyway during the day.
Any horror medium?
I mean, I guess the whole point of it is we know the twist. So what world would we...
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, for you, for Five Nights at Freddy's, that makes sense. Well, but then I'm like, for me, it'd be like, I'm thinking like the obvious answer, Silent Hill. But then I'm like, why would I want my trauma to be monsters?
Yeah, no.
That would be horrific.
Oh, God, awful. No.
Yeah, that would be bad. And it wouldn't be any zombie shit. So like all of those go out the window. I honestly don't know, actually.
Really?
I really don't. Like, I'm actually like really trying to think about that from my horror repertoire.
I'm FNAF all the way.
It's not even that. Why would I want to go into any of these fucked up worlds to begin with? I have to read about them.
I create them. I don't want to be a part of them.
Yeah, I don't want to be a part of it. Like, that's why horror media is so special, is because you're not a part of it. You get to watch the fucked up shit and be like, yeah, I'm in the comfort of my own bed.
See, you and I both would be just fine and dandy in Rainbow Factory because we're unicorns.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's the world.
There you go.
There we go. We would be in the Rainbow Factory universe because ain't no shit happening to us because we unicorns, okay?
Elk Likes Honey Sandwiches says, how does it feel to be such big inspirations for younger generations?
Intimidating.
Yeah. Great. It really does. Okay, we joke does. Here. We're clearly joking, but no, this is incredible. She has aged like a fine wine. It's almost like I was there for the childhood years, right? My content has steadily kind of gotten older. I would say that Ask Ponies especially is definitely got some adult humor in there.
Well, it's when this whole shit started 10, 11 years ago, whenever the fuck we started this, okay? I'm tired. It was the idea that the fandom was creating all this content and it was supposed to be for adults. But unfortunately, because of the way the YouTube algorithm works, it instantly got propelled into the kids stuff.
Yeah.
And I remembered, like, I was tripping out because I was like, oh no, why are they watching my content? And I was putting warnings on things. I was purposely trying to make sure that, you know, I didn't want kids clicking on it. That's why my thumbnails looked a certain way they did. I wasn't trying to garner kids, but they ended up here.
Because it's been enough time. They grew up with the show.
Oh no.
Now they're ready to consume.
Oh yeah.
The different aspects of media.
I've learned that there are crap loads of you guys that are just like now finally discovering my content and because you grew up, and I'm so happy that that's how you're experiencing it, because that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I was never trying to go after kids, at least with the Grimdark content. The comic dubs were a different story. But like, that's the thing. Like, I wasn't trying to hide that I was making scary content. That's the thing. I don't think I ever once tried to hide that.
No, and you put warnings and you like you said, you cater the thumbnails towards not, you know.
Yeah, like I really didn't try to hide that. And I feel like when I look back at the younger generations, there's always this one story that comes to my head. It just makes me giggle because I remember the sheer amount of oh god that I felt. We were at BronyCon. I think it was the last one. I'm almost positive. And we were walking through the fucking vendor hall and some little girl came up to me. She's like, oh my god, you're the LostNarrator. Not 12, fucking 12. I don't even know how old she was. Comes up to me, hugs me, and I'm like, oh hi. And she's like, I watched all your bloopers. And I'm like, oh no. And I looked up and her mom was looking at me. I don't think her mom had a clue who the fuck I was. And I just about died. Because I'm just like, oh no. Like, why?
The best part about being an inspiration too means that they're also going to go out and create something of their own.
And that's, to be honest, that's the coolest fucking part of the whole damn thing. I've seen so many comments from you guys over the years of like, I'm going to go do this in this fandom and I'm going to make this production. I'm like, cool. That's what I want to fucking see. Like, because that's all we ever want at the end of the day. We want you guys to be inspired or have fun with the media or whatever the hell we're doing and just create.
I'm speaking for both of us, so again, you can correct me. We think the best media right now comes from individuals, not from big companies.
Oh, yeah.
We have steadily seen the rise and fall of Hollywood and you know, bigger corporations and how they tell stories. And I gotta tell you, the media I consume that I love the most either comes from small little indie studios or from YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there's so much more heart. And the fact that if I can inspire someone else, even if all they've consumed of me is my cringe, or all they've consumed is my grimdark, you know, if that can create something else, that's all I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I want more to consume in this world that feels original and feels...
Well, it's the idea that art's become manufactured and the idea that we just have to make it. We just have to make it so that people will buy the fucking shit and make money.
Yeah.
When art is being made with the intention of just a profit, it starts to degrade.
Yeah.
I have seen that so many times with media, especially nowadays, where I'm just like, this is not good. Mag can tell you, I'm not really watching new stuff. I'm not really playing new games, and I'm not really fucking watching new media because most of it I don't really care for, to be honest.
Plus, she and I both grew up in a time where the Disney Renaissance was a thing.
We grew up in peak Disney Renaissance, guys.
We did.
We were there at the fucking like movie theaters when The Lion King was going off.
Yes.
I had all the VHSs, okay? I had fucking Disney on Ice, Mag. I went to like all these Disney on Ices.
Yeah, me too.
Because I lived in Southern California and I lived like within 10 to 15 minutes away from Disneyland. So of course I was exposed to all of that.
Right. Our standard for what makes a story good is pretty high.
Yeah,
I would say.
But that's also why it's so humbling, at least for us. I mean, I'm speaking for both of us, of the idea that the media that we've created, even though they're fanfics, even though they're about ponies, has inspired so many of you guys. And that's a trip.
Yeah,
that's a trip to me.
Now it's a joke. How many times can I bring up Apple Sleep?
Oh my God.
Now it's a joke. For our podcast series, we went around and what pieces of art could we find that people drew of or about an Apple Sleep experiment or the sequel? Wow, did we find some crazy stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Cosplays. I didn't expect the cosplays.
There was a crap load of you guys on Instagram and TikTok cosplaying as Apple Sleep AJ, and I was like, dude.
Do you know what that means to me? Like, truly, do you know what that does
You've
to
transcended,
me?
Mag. You're now, your Apple Sleep AJ is next to Cupcakes Pinkie and Rainbow Factory Dash.
I don't even know how to process that. I don't even know how to process it. It is just, when I feel the worst, that kind of stuff is what cheers me up. Like, almost guaranteed.
Yeah. Amos.swys asks, what is your favorite type of music to listen to?
Very interesting.
I like that question. It's simple.
It is simple.
And it's going to be an overcomplicated answer that goes on for 5 minutes.
Like everything else. How is anyone still listening?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, if you're still listening, write pickle in the comments section.
Actually,
I'm just genuinely
there's
curious.
There's going to be a bunch of pickles in the
I hope there's a bunch of pickles in the comments
The two
section.
lesbians are asking for pickles in the comments.
Please put pickles in the comment section. I don't even like pickles. Just put them in there.
My favorite type of music to listen to currently, because this is the thing about my tastes in music, they are all over the place. I can go for, like, on my Spotify likes list, you can go from neoclassical piano to suddenly a Gaga song to suddenly some emo shit from the 2000s to an R&B song from the 90s to, like, it's everywhere. But currently, I would say my favorite music that I'm listening to right now is synthwave, vaporwave,
anything from Gaga.
Yeah, anything. I'm so excited for a new album. Don't get me started. But like, I would say, like, because I'm like, I don't know about music specifically, but like there are bands.
I'm right now in my life musicals.
Yeah, you've been going off on those musicals.
Obsessed with musicals lately, and it hasn't always been that way. I say, even though I wrote PTS. Epic the musical. That is my jam.
She will not shut up about it.
She won't listen to them with me.
Well, I'm not into musicals.
I got Cloud9
sorry.
and Marshy into it, so I could have someone to sing epic songs with.
God damn it.
I love Six. I love the Mean Girls musical. We don't talk about the movie. I love oh my gosh.
Wicked?
That's what I was about to talk about. I was getting all excited. Shut up. Wicked, the movie, is the first 10 out of 10 movie I've seen in more than a decade. Well, that's not true.
No, there was one more.
There was one more. That's not the point. Loved it. Okay, musicals. That is my jam right now. Floofy Wolf?
Floofy Wolf?
Floofy Wolf Girl. Floofy Wolf Girl asks, what are your favorite childhood movies, TV shows, and video games?
Oh, man.
See, I feel like I'm going to have the first two, and you're going to have, like, the second two, or the last two.
I might have, I got some.
Actually, to switch it up, why don't we ask or answer for each other?
Oh,
to see how much I, like, know. Yeah, we're doing that. Okay.
Oh God, this is like a torture test. What the fuck?
Yeah, we are. It's been long enough in the podcast. We're going to torture each other. It's perfect.
All right.
So, favorite childhood movie. Your favorite Disney movie is Beauty and the Beast. the one from 1992.
It's peak.
It is.
It's peak. I don't
They
give a
can't top that.
Everyone says that Lion King is peak. Nah, it's Beauty and the Beast 1992 because it almost won an Academy Award.
I know. So cool.
So cool.
It also kind of defined the new genre for animated movies, but I digress.
Oh, yeah.
Other movies? I don't really remember you talking too much about other movies, but you did love TV shows. You loved Batman the Animated Series, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
That's my shit.
You did watch a little bit of like cartoons on Saturdays. I'm trying to remember if you had any like...
Yeah, but I didn't really talk about it. Like those, when I think about like my peak childhood, what was I really into?
Yeah.
It was Batman the Animated Series, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Did I miss any?
Yeah, you did. You missed a few.
Oh no, what did I miss?
For me, it was also Digimon. I liked the first two stuffs of Digimon.
My Neighbor Totoro. That was a childhood movie you loved.
Yep.
That's one.
That was one I really, really liked as a kid.
All-time favorite video game from your childhood, Silent Hill 2. No?
I didn't play that till I was like in my 20s. That is not a game I played in my childhood.
Damn.
You know this. We just talked about it, and I literally have been trying to get you to play it with me.
Why am I drawing a blank?
I'm very surprised. So,
It's not Crash Bandicoot.
no, it's not. It's not Crash Bandicoot.
Is it Super Mario RPG?
Super Mario? Well, that's one of them.
Okay.
That is one of Super
Guys,
Mario.
I'm doing good.
You don't remember
Give
it.
me a hint. What console?
PlayStation.
PlayStation. I'm having like an existential crisis over here because
As one naturally does.
our living room is just filled with all of these video games.
It's not even that. We were literally playing it, like, not even like a month or two ago.
Well, now I feel even more stupid.
Yeah.
Crap. What?
I even told you the story about how I got a hold of it.
Okay, you have to tell me.
Metal Gear Solid.
Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I am so dumb.
So my ass, I know, you're probably thinking childhood game, Metal Gear Solid, what? I was playing that at 9 years old. I shouldn't have been fucking playing it, but I was. Because my friend had a copy of it, and I think so of course we're 9, we're stupid, and someone's like, let's do a video game rental thing, and someone started writing out like lists of things that they would do. So we were trading. We were basically trading shit.
That's cute.
But
cute.
I think I traded my copy or temporarily, because I know I gave it back to him and he gave it back to me. My copy of Donkey Kong Country 2.
That's a good
and
one.
he gave me 2 discs of Metal Gear Solid because it was on a 2-disc thing for the PlayStation. And I stayed up all fucking night. Like over the weekend, because he gave it to me on Friday and I had to get it back to him on Monday, and I stayed up pretty much and I beat it over the weekend, and I was 9. I should have not been fucking playing that.
Another one then would have been Resident Evil 2.
Yep, that was another one. But I only played the Leon disc because I only had the Leon disc.
Leon.
But yeah, another movie you didn't mention, but it was more my teenage years, was Dead Poet Society. I love that movie.
I literally didn't know that.
Yeah, I have that on DVD.
I've never seen it.
Oh, well, you should. It's a brilliant movie from Robin Williams.
Learning all this stuff about my wife of 5 years.
It's okay. I already know I'm gonna fuck this answers up anyways.
Oh no, I'm excited for you to do so because I feel like an idiot.
Childhood movies. You?
Yeah. Well, some of them should be obvious.
Anastasia. First off.
Thank you.
Little Mermaid.
Yep.
That one you love.
Favorite princess.
Ariel, yeah. Ariel's your favorite princess.
Yep.
TV shows, I know the later years of you. I mean,
technically childhood is, I would consider teens too.
Okay, so Xena.
Yeah.
Xena the warrior princess.
Damn right.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yep.
Other TV shows that you mentioned? I think those are the only 2 you really mentioned as a kid.
There's some, and I know you're thinking about like what merch do I have of it in the house. I know that's one of the
Actually,
biggest,
yeah, that is the biggest giveaway, TBH.
one of the really big ones for me was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. I even had one of those stupid little backpacks.
What about DuckTales?
Oh yeah.
DuckTales.
I was a big Disney Channel. The Little Mermaid TV show.
Yeah.
The Aladdin series.
Yep, you talked about that one too.
I loved Hey Arnold. I don't know why, but I loved, and Arthur.
Oh my god.
Arthur
was the shit, dude.
That was such a good show.
That was a good show.
Before you had to have an antenna, we had this like really small, crappy TV that I don't know how it ended up in my room. And I'd only ever get like PBS on it, and I'd only watch if Arthur was on. Because I didn't care about anything else.
I was going to say, that was your antenna. That's the antenna TV instead of cable, you mean?
Whatever.
Well, it's not even, you're all like, I watch Disney Channel. My ass didn't even fucking have cable. So, like, I was just like, yeah, it's like Pokemon, like all the, like, clearly, I grew up poor. We didn't have cable. So.
I also loved The Swan Princess. That's not quite as well known. That's not quite as Disney.
No, I would say, well, it's not Disney, but it's definitely like up
It's
there.
up there, yeah.
I would say that.
There's quite a few.
And then video games. So you should probably preface why these are your favorite video games, first off.
My mother. I'm going to be sending her this podcast so she can listen to it. Hi, Mom.
Oh, we're going to have to censor a lot then.
No, she can hear all the fucks and just get over it. It's fine. Because I don't have to see the look on her face, and Dad's probably laughing right now. So my mom really tried hard to filter what we girls consumed media-wise. She didn't like Rugrats because she thought that they got into shenanigans that would give us bad ideas. I mean, just, you know.
Your mother did the thing that parents should do, which is regulate what the hell their kids are consuming.
Exactly. And in the 90s, that was a lot easier to do.
Oh, yeah.
So she didn't really give us, like, we weren't allowed to watch PG until we were 8. We weren't allowed to watch PG-13 until we were 13. We weren't allowed to have games that were E10 unless we were 10. You know, things like that. And so a lot of the video games that we did get were very watered down versions of stuff we'd already consumed. So, like Piglet's Big Movie, we had Piglet's Big Game.
Which is so funny because of the fucking resurgence I saw on the internet.
No, I still want to do a live stream.
Oh, we're going to do it. We're going to get to it.
Playing Piglet's Big Game because everybody's just been memeing it. So a lot of my favorite video games are just regurgitated.
Well, okay, but you had like Shrek Super Party.
Dude,
and
that
like
was the bomb.
Okay. For you, yeah. For childhood you.
Yes.
I have played that game with you, and dear God, it's Shrek Super Party is like a ripoff of Mario Party.
It is.
But with Shrek characters for the PS2, because that's the version you had.
Yes.
And oh my God, are the controls jank. But we played it. Me, you, Lexi, and Mary Medley. We all fucking played it.
Yeah.
And I about lost my shit to the point where I was going to throw that controller.
Then Lexi and I are just having the time of our lives. But what's my absolute favorite?
Game?
Yeah.
Oh, Portal Runner.
Thank you.
Yeah, Portal Runner, which is a PS2 game that was made by the same guys that made Army Men
games.
The Army Men games.
It's funny because I know so much about that game. I was one of those people who 100%ed it without looking at a guide, and the controls are
they're so bad.
Terrible. I didn't know that though.
They are some of the worst controls.
But I didn't know that. So I was I was on like super hard mode and didn't even realize that I was, you know, struggling.
It's not even that. I remember when we first, like one of the first times I went to go visit you, when you were living at your apartment, you were like, I want to show you this game. And you pulled it up and I tried to play with you because there's a 2-player mode in it.
There is.
And I was like, oh my God. If I could just take Babby Mag and just be like, let me show you some good games.
This is the girl who did Metal Gear Solid at 9. I don't think you have any leg to stand on.
That was my favorite, but like I played other games too. I wasn't just playing like clearly not kid games.
Well, listen, I was also, one of my favorite TV shows and movies series is Winnie the Pooh, and Jim Cummings, who's the voice of Tigger and Pooh, he was every single male character in Portal Runner.
Yeah, he was.
He was the old wizard, he was the dad, he was the love interest, he was the scary villain's sidekick. He was literally every single male character, and I always wondered why growing up I liked the game, and every time I revisit it, I'm like, oh.
It's because it's Jim.
Because it was Jim.
Because it was Jim.
Like, oh.
AutoTryPop7708 asks, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you think y'all's voice acting has gotten more controlled and or better?
It took me a long time to become comfortable in my voice acting.
Yeah.
That's why it's gotten better. I don't think anyone out of the gate is ever really comfortable in front of a microphone.
No.
And then I also had to understand and realize that my voice is my voice. I can't change it, but I can have fun with it. You know what I mean? I will never be a carbon copy of somebody else. I have to be content being myself.
I would say when it comes to impressions, you have definitely finally kind of stepped away from trying to sound like the character to focusing on the acting of it, I would say.
As long as they know who I am, which almost every single time they do,
yeah,
then I can have fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know when I'm voicing Trixie versus Pinkie versus Celestia versus whoever.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting Rarity. Versus Rarity.
Rarity's, like I said, she's just in the corner pouting.
She is.
Eating her ice cream, thinking, how dare you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why it's better. But you know what's the one character that I still to this day cannot do convincingly?
Who?
Myself.
What?
Yeah. Being Magpie in the Tale of the Lost Narrator series, that was hell. Because I kept going, well, how do I sound?
Imagine how I felt, because I do my narrator voice, but then I was fucking, I gave us hard mode. I really did with that.
Because I kept thinking, this is gonna sound so cringy. I'm literally crying.
I mean, it did, but you know,
myself.
Whatever, I didn't care.
No, to this day, I can't be me. Like, it's just a problem.
Well, no, I feel like for the 50K special, you did a good job in terms of acting, because it was comedy.
Okay.
Oh my fucking God.
Listen, I don't know. I just, unless I'm like podcasts and I'm just, you know,
shooting the shit.
If I have to read a script as myself, there is
something doesn't fire.
No.
In terms of my voice acting, how it's become more controlled and or better. I mean, considering in my early days, my Rainbow Dash sounded like Ash Ketchum or Naruto. Considering my AJ, the accent was everywhere, and I was still trying to sound like season 1 AJ where her balls didn't drop. And the vinyl voice, I feel like, used to sound like the most monotone fucking thing.
It's not even that. I feel like you pushed too hard for vinyl in the beginning.
Yeah, I did.
You like tried to overcompensate for something for some reason, and it wasn't until you finally realized.
Because at that point, like I said, as a voice actor, I was constantly getting comments of so-and-so's better. Why didn't you get so-and-so when you know so-and-so? And da-da-da. Like, it is, like I said, some of those comments were so disheartening.
Demoralizing.
Yeah, and they were demoralizing. And that's why it's so funny, too, because, like, I'll go to other people's channels, and the comments will literally say, why didn't you just use AI? And I'm just like, what the fuck?
See, but I've seen the other end.
Yeah.
Why didn't you use Lost? Why didn't you get Mag?
But how much do I think it's gotten better? I don't sound like Naruto now. And I feel like my Applejack is now just more Reba McEntire than anything else.
I'm sorry, I love your age.
Oh no, I'm not. That's not a bad thing either. I feel like as the years have gone on, I've really practiced my acting and I've really pushed myself as an actress. And I know, like, there have been roles that people have been like, damn, like, she just gave it her all. I'm like, I did. And it hurt, but I did it.
And you knock it out of the park every time.
I do. I try. I really do try on that. I'm not always perfect, but I really try. Every role that I get, I try to give it my all.
Lunar Archer asks, what's your dream vacation?
Ooh.
I already know mine, like, immediately. I really want to go back to Italy with you. I went to Italy with my university, and my sister, Kendra, joined me. And we had a wonderful time, and ever since, I've wanted to take you to Rome specifically.
I want to go to Rome, so that would be fucking cool.
We have to go find the gelato shop that serves Viagra ice cream.
Oh my... And we're going to leave it at that for your answer. My dream vacation is, it's actually pretty simple. Probably a cabin out in the woods by ourselves with no internet and away from everybody. and I can cook out in the cabin.
Because that doesn't sound like a horror movie scenario.
It's not a horror movie scenario. Shut up. It's the idea of like, it's just us. Like, I don't know. That alone, especially out in nature, because like I fucking, your girl's wants to touch a lot of grass, okay? That's how that goes.
Gross.
Yeah, I know, right? But that's why I said a cabin, because if we get like a bougie cabin that has like,
that's the closest to camping I will ever get.
Yeah, you no, not even glamping, because glamping implies that you're in the fucking like
glamping for me is a 3-star motel. Okay. I am a freaking princess when it comes to the outdoors.
Yeah, you are. You're a freaking princess.
God,
you are.
Good luck.
Good
luck. You want to both try it? Okay.
No, I don't even want to try it. I feel like I might have a stroke in the middle of that.
There's a lot of vowels, and then
I'm pretty sure that's an anime type of thing. So this person here, 6195.
There you go.
They ask, how do you guys keep your creative drive so high?
Can I? My bipolar.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know that's a cop-out.
So, no, it's not a cop-out. I would say with Mag, I purposely, when I know she is going into a high, I purposely try to create an environment that will allow her to go right. Or whatever the hell she needs to do creatively at that point.
Yeah.
It is
a guarantee.
It's a guarantee.
Every time.
For me, personally, how I keep my creative drive high, Mag?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of go along with what her high is, because if she's on definitely like she's going off in a random tangent with something creative, I'm like, let's go. And there's a gif that fucking mindless sketching Nick fucking made of me getting dragged along by Mag and like kicking and screaming. Like, it'll be on the screen. You guys can enjoy it.
Yes.
But
it's perfect.
That's literally our creative process. That's how we keep it high.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's my brain chemistry. Yay! Sentient Alcohol, oh my, 3119 asks, are we planning on adopting a baby someday?
There were so many of you guys asking this question.
I mean, that's kind of a logical question to ask.
It is. It's a very logical question. No, it's not like I'm offended, but I was really surprised by how many fucking people asked.
We have talked about this at length. We have changed our minds a million times. And we always came back eventually to the same conclusion, and that is that
our sisters have enough damn kids that we have enough there.
Yeah. I would say I'm pretty content being a fur baby mom.
Oh yeah,
and
that and an aunt, because like we spend time with our niece and nephews. Like we really
all nephews, one niece.
Yeah, all nephews, one niece.
My sister has 4 boys, and your sister has 1 boy and a girl.
Yeah.
And I absolutely adore every single one of them.
Yep.
I love them to pieces. And they're all getting older now and can kind of relate on...
Well, no, you've been playing with the oldest. He's been getting into Pokemon.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, so you've been playing... Like, he doesn't know much about, like...
Well, because my only experience of Pokemon is Pokemon Violet.
And Scarlet.
And now his is Pokemon Scarlet is one of his only. So we bond.
Yeah.
I think... It really comes back to the idea that I was a nanny for as long as I was. That was a job.
Yeah.
I could go home, right? Like at the end of the day, I got to go home and not have to have a baby crying again. Like
yeah.
I adore kids. There's a part of me that will always want.
Well, I also go kind of back and forth on it. I know right now our current answer is no.
No.
But I did make the joke to you one point. And I was like, what if like after all this, we can watch us be in our 50s and then we were like, okay, fine, whatever, we'll do that.
I guess it's a you never know, but it's no leaning.
It's no leaning right now. Like we have my nephew from my sister. He comes and visits for the summer.
Which is a tradition from my grandmother. Yep. And I love that. I get to honor her by doing that for my nephew, and that just makes my whole day.
I've thought about it, especially because as I've gotten older, but like in the grand scheme of things, I can't do babies. Sorry, no.
It's a sensory thing, huh?
They cry way too damn much. That's why
our cats cry enough. Like
no, not cry. They just bitch. They bitch and meow. There's a difference. But like it's a sensory issue. Unfortunately, when a baby cries, it can hurt me. Unfortunately, and my nephew. I think that's why the oldest nephew from my sister. He was such a quiet baby. he was a good baby. But my sister though just had my niece like a year or two. No, she's 3 now.
She's gonna be 3.
She's gonna be 3, and I love her. She is the cutest thing, but she is
rambunctious.
She's a spitfire.
Yeah,
she is a spitfire. That little girl cannot sit still. But when she was younger, she would cry suddenly, and it was like, but it was weird. She would cry with no tears. They were crocodile tears.
Yeah,
because she wanted her way, and I couldn't deal. Oh my God, I could not deal. I had to get earplugs to be around them because of how bad it was sometimes. But like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe someday, but definitely it's a no right now from us. We're too busy with all this shit. A Mirror Cat asks, what are your favorite colors?
Do you want to do each other's again? I know you know this.
Oh, isn't it green and pink for you?
Correct. And yours is red, black, and blue.
Yep, those are my favorite.
Boom.
Yep.
Young Hope Productions 485 asks, are we interested in Pokemon? What are your favorites? We literally just
I was gonna say, you just
this.
mentioned that. I grew up with the first gen. Like, that's how old I am. We're not gonna, whatever. So my favorite Pokemon are Squirtle and Dragonite.
And I even sculpted from clay a Dragonite, hugging a heart, and I named it Dee Dee. And then we later found like a plush of a Dragonite, and she is also Dee Dee.
Oh yeah.
So just that's become a thing. I love Leafeon, Eevees, all the evolutions, but I also love Litleos. They're just.
They are adorable.
I love them so much.
They are adorable.
Rockruffs too. Why do I like all the like early evolutions?
Well, no, those aren't early. Those are later generations.
Oh, Rockruff is?
Yeah, Rockruff is a later generation. I don't know which one, but I do know, like I said, I'm the OGs because I'm part of the ones I like are part of. I really only know the 150, and then I came in around X and Y. So like, I do know enough about Pokemon, but like,
Those would be my favorite.
Oh, Sheldon B. Zwedenhout. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
6336 asks, what does the future hold for the two of you, especially now in 2025?
We're really trying to expand our horizons. We're really trying to let our creative wings
kind of fly.
We have so many ideas that over the years we kept putting off. We can do it later. I think both of us now are at this point where we're like, no, it's time to actually do it. Let's just do it. Let's just try. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If it does, cool. I think 2025 for me is going to be a lot of different things to see what works, see what I like, see what sticks. For you, it's going to be diversifying your attention to all different places. You're not just going to be on The Lost Narrator. You're going to be at Norco Pizza Party or on TheLostExtras, or who knows where you may end
or
up.
Even on your channel, because I know we have ideas for yours for MLP stuff still.
Yeah.
That we
still have MLP ideas.
Oh, yeah.
But I really want 2025 to be an exploration of beyond that.
Yeah.
Or at least starting the process of it, right? There are certain things we want to do that is, like you mentioned, the Ponies meets Game of Thrones. That might be a little too sprawling to be done by the end of 2025, but it can at least get going.
The ball's going to get going. That's what I feel like.
Yeah. But for now, I'm content with, finishing Immortal Affliction.
Yeah, I was going to say
Apple of the Dead.
I think those are the two big ones on at least for my channel.
Right. I really want to get PTS up and going again.
Yep.
I know it's been a while. I know it's probably going to end up being more than 2 years by the time the next episode comes out.
Yeah, but the problem is that you can't rush creativity, and like the art block we were talking about, you were kind of in a little bit of a funk with it, and that's okay.
And so I deviated. I went to other projects, specifically on your channel. I think I after PTS, the last PTS episode, other than Ask Ponies, I was like, you know what? I want to do like Grimdark. I want to
You've been on a Grimdark kick.
I have.
You've been a Grimdark kick.
1989 J-Rog asks, queso or salsa? Well, if she could have cheese.
I would have queso. You want to know my favorite queso, if we're really going to get into this, is Taco Bell nacho cheese. And I don't give a fuck that it's not real. I don't give a fuck if it's going to make me sick. That is the shit. I could drown in that and it would still be good.
I am such a plain Jane in my palate that I love cheese and I would still pick salsa. But the most mild, even my sister can handle more than me. Like, I cry.
Yeah, you can't, it's only mild. You can only deal with mild.
I can't handle. I'm such a wimp.
No, it's queso for me though. I can't have it. Creature Feature 8232 asks, do y'all like horror media outside of MLP Grimdarks? If so, do you have a favorite horror movie /show /book /etc.?
Oh my gosh, I could go on forever.
Yeah, actually we could.
I will try to be concise.
I can be concise.
Okay, go.
For me, it's Haunting of Hill House.
Oh.
That's on Netflix. It's a 10-part anthology series from...
Limited series.
That one and The Haunting of Blythe Manor, which is...
done by the same people.
Mm-hmm. Those two, holy shit.
So good.
So good. I could go on for hours about why that was so good.
You've really been into Severance? Is that what it's called?
No, The Substance.
Thank you. Well, I was close.
That came out within the last year. It's with Demi Moore and another new actress I'm not familiar with, but it is such a good movie. If you like body horror and the idea of deconstructing what it means to be a woman, it is so well done. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Hollywood's obsession with young.
Yeah. And the idea of what a woman's really worth in certain people's eyes. It makes some of the best commentary I've seen when it comes to what society does to us, and the idea of only pretty girls only matter and shit like that. But then it takes it to a whole other fucking level and you're like, what? And on top of that too, it really suspends your disbelief in the idea of what's really going on, because it goes so over the top towards the end.
Oh, incredibly.
Yeah.
I write grimdark, and there were certain parts of that I was watching between my fingers.
Oh no, she had to cover her eyes and I had to tell her when the fuck she could look. That's how bad it was.
It is not for the squeamish, okay?
Obviously Silent Hill.
Of course.
Yeah, obviously Silent Hill. Resident Evil is another one that I really, I love that series.
Another one that's recent for you, but I don't know if it's recent in general, is Crow Country.
Oh yeah, that one came out in 2024, and we're playing out on MPP. You should be cross promotion. I really liked that one too. The storytelling on that was wonderful.
So you mentioned Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Blythe Manor. Mm-hmm. I would recommend those to literally everyone.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, American Horror Story.
Okay, but some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah, I know.
Hotel is peak.
No, Coven and Hotel. Yeah. Those are the peak ones for me.
I like 1984.
That's okay.
I'm not as into American Horror Story as much. I would consider it a horror movie, but it is the only other movie in the last 10 years that I give a 10 out of 10 to, other than Wicked. And it is called Marrowbone. And it is a psychological horror and I don't even know how to describe why I love this movie. It makes me think. It makes me feel. It makes me excited. I would watch and rewatch just to dissect its pieces.
I will be honest, I didn't see the twist coming. It subverted my expectations that hard that I did not see the twist coming.
I very rarely do I give a 10 out of 10 for any kind of, I would say, professional media. Mm-hmm. That one gets it for me. That the way that whoever put it together is the exact kind of creative that I strive to be.
Yeah.
And I recommend that one. I would die happy if someone would say, I went and watched Marrowbone Mag and here are my thoughts, even if it wasn't the best thing you ever watched, because I just think that movie has a message.
It's not even that. Someone's gonna be like, let's do a movie club. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
No, I know. But it's something very rarely do you find, you being me, very rarely do I find a piece of media that I would want to share with my wife, my family, my friends, and my fans. And that is one of them. And that's all I'll say, because I don't want to get into...
No, it's spoilery.
Yeah.
It's very spoilery if you go into it knowing it. The best way to experience that movie, if I was to make any suggestion, because I have watched it with her and it is that good, go into it blind.
Yes, please.
Don't watch trailers. Don't do that. Because I've learned over the years, I feel like a lot of things get ruined when you watch trailers and you know too much going into it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to consume it blind, and that's one of those.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's a horror, so be aware that you're gonna... there's going to be moments.
Right.
I would say another one that sort of is on horror, but it's more comedy-leaning horror, is Scream Queens, actually.
Oh, yeah.
That is technically horror, and it is one of the funniest damn, it's from Ryan Murphy, who does American Horror Story and Glee.
But it's so good.
It's so funny. It's one of the funniest damn things I have watched, and Emma Roberts just kills it.
Oh, yeah.
She just slaughters that role.
It is star-studded.
Oh, yeah.
Ariana Grande is in it.
Ariana Grande's in it. One of the
Jamie Lee Curtis.
One of the Jonas Brothers.
Freaking Taylor Lautner from the Twilight Saga.
Oh, but
that's in the second season.
The second season, because there's 2 seasons of that. It's so...
It is star-studded, and it is hilarious, and it is such a fun time.
Yeah.
I'd say another fun pair of horror movies that I love are Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You.
Oh yeah, you love those.
I adore it. It's Groundhog's Day, but a horror movie. And I wouldn't say the horror movie is... It's PG-13. It's not like over the top horror, okay? It's fun horror.
Yeah.
But I think those are the big ones. I enjoy horror games that I can watch, but I don't want to play any of them.
No, in fact, the last time when we played Resident Evil 8 together, I was the one mostly doing it, and
I couldn't hang.
You couldn't hang. You were screaming.
Hang.
You were screaming your fucking head off.
I was.
And the only reason why I was jumping was because you were so scared.
Yeah, true. True. RDC Flipnay 906 says, between the two of you, who has the most bragging rights? Her?
Wait, what? You're sitting over there with 1 million subs. What the hell are you talking about?
Subs mean nothing. I'm sorry to be that person, but subs mean jack. They mean jack shit, okay?
Why do I have bragging rights?
I don't know, because you're cooler than me.
Oh my fucking god, no. That is not the fucking case.
You're cooler than me.
That is not.
I don't know. What are we bragging about? She has much more, life experience. She knows people. She can look at a person and, almost accurately identify what they're thinking sometimes. It's crazy cool.
No, it's not.
It is. It's
I
cool.
hate being that insightful sometimes, and it sucks.
No, she's incredible. And
well, of course you're gonna say that. You're my weef. You're gonna say that.
My whiff.
You're my whiff.
I'm your whiff.
I would say, to be honest, I feel like you have more bragging rights than me because, because of how many fucking talents you have.
Oh, please.
No, I'm serious. You can write. You can art direct. You can art. You can sing. You can literally make fucking shadow boxes. You can make crafty shit. You crafted me a fucking Dragon Knight out of clay. I could literally go on about how many damn talents you actually have. It's crazy. Anything you put your mind to, you do it. I wish I could be I'm gonna draw some shit, and hell no, it looked like freaking it looked jankier than the caveman drawings, okay? That's how I know I am limited in my talents, and that's okay because I figured out what my talents are and I go towards those.
That's okay. I'm not a physical person at all. Any kind of physical anything, But really? You think I have more bragging rights?
Have you not seen all the shadow boxes?
As I stare at them on the wall.
Yeah, as you stare at them on the wall.
I guess.
You have, I would say you have more bragging rights, because of how multifaceted your talent is.
Well, that's really sweet. It turned out to be very sweet.
The Survivor 637 asks, simple question, chocolate or vanilla? If neither, what flavor?
Okay, well, if I had to choose vanilla.
Well, for me, my ass would be like swirl because I'm that person.
But if I got to pick the flavor?
Oh, yeah. No. Okay. So that's a better question. What is the flavor?
Play-Doh. Wait, before they're like, oh my gosh,
what the hell?
Do you eat Play-Doh? No, it's a flavor at my favorite ice cream place, okay? It's literally called Play-Doh. It's very fruity flavors.
It looks like Play-Doh.
Some like ice creameries call it Superman. It's very centered for children, so of course I love it.
It looks like the carpet that you would see at a...
arcade?
Yeah. Yeah, it really does look like that.
It's like blues and reds and yellows, and it's delicious. What about you? When you could eat ice cream.
When I could eat ice cream. And I still have ice cream from time to time because there's lots of dairy substitutes for it. But mint chip. Mint chip, and not even any kind of mint chip. It's Thrifty's mint chip ice cream because it wasn't chunks of fucking chocolate that would be in there. They were shavings.
Oh.
And that shit just melts in your mouth and oh boy.
And that answer works for not just ice cream either. Like fudge or candy or like I love white chocolate too. That's another really good one. Recapping?
I guess.
Recapping.
Yep.
Favorite river. I have a story.
Denial, duh. My favorite river's Denial.
At my sister, the only sister I haven't talked about, at my sister's wedding, her husband's niece was named River. And I could not remember what body of water it was she was named after. So I kept being like, oh, isn't my nephew cute with lake?
You kept devolving into different like water masses.
It just became a meme. I was like, oh, stream is adorable. Or like, asking, how is Reservoir doing? Like,
how is Reservoir doing? God, you couldn't remember her fucking name.
I couldn't remember what body of water it was.
Stupid.
And that's all to say, like, it's all in good fun. I'm not trying to make fun of the name. I just literally could not remember.
So you kept devolving into...
I kept, like, memeing myself.
Ocean.
Yes, that would have been a good one.
Ocean. I'm trying to think of other... Leave that in the comments. What else could we have called...
A little adorable little girl.
Oh, adorable. But you could not remember her fucking name.
I couldn't remember.
God.
Noctrix. Noctrix Vingast.
Noctrix Vingast. It is,
Noctrix Vingast.
You say it right with the accent, and then there's just my accent.
There's an accent now. Noctrix Vingast.
There you go. Do either of y'all have any tattoos? I like the fact, too, that I've been seeing a lot of y'alls in the fucking...
I adore it.
I love it. The AJ in me is so happy.
Right? The AJ lover in me is so happy. I do not. She does.
I do. I designed it, actually. And I got it when I was 19, I think. 19, 20.
It is on your back.
It's on my back, my upper back, of it's a yin and the yang symbol with the kanji for balance. And the yin and the yang are separate. And it is sort of like a mantra for myself because I'm always trying to find the balance between the polar opposites of how this world works. And I designed it and then I went and got it tattooed and I have not taken care of it. So it probably looks like shit right now. You would see it more than me because I sure as shit can't see my back.
I mean, I think it's cute. In the early days of our relationship, I used to like trace it with my fingers because I never dated anyone with a tattoo before. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I don't really have any desire to get a tattoo.
I've actually thought about getting a tattoo, but potentially getting that old one covered up. And I don't know with what, though. That would also involve me having to find a tattoo artist and that whole shit. But I have thought about it of like, yeah, maybe I could get something. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Probably not, knowing my ass, but,
Any parting words? My love.
If you're still listening, what should they leave now?
Pickles and cream.
No, not that. No, it's got to be emojis. What kind of emoji should they leave?
Is there a pickle emoji?
Yes, there is.
Oh my God.
There is a pickle emoji. At least I think so.
Well, we can't tell them to leave eggplants.
No.
I know that much.
Oh God, please don't. Please don't do that. Maybe leave a shrug. I don't know.
I feel like it's us. They should probably
leave a unicorn.
There you go.
Leave a unicorn if you got this damn far.
Or if you don't know how to do that like me, then just write unicorn
Write
somewhere.
unicorn somewhere.
Be like unicorn emoji here. I don't
Right, for real. But no, thank you guys for joining us for this. Oh, Alice has definitely made herself look good. She's like, enough talking. Give me cuddles.
Well, you know, we have been talking for upwards of like what now, 4 hours?
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
I'm starving. I'm ready to go figure out food.
I don't envy the editing process you have to go through.
Yeah,
Have fun.
you know, I'm gonna be the one putting this bitch together, and whoo boy. But no, thank you guys for joining us on this. I hope you guys enjoyed it, even if it was random and chaotic. And yeah, there will be obviously more podcasts. There will be other things, not like this. The Apple Sleep podcast is coming.
There it is. There's the last mention. It wasn't from me.
Oh my God, shut up. But no, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I still can't believe it's been 10 years. 10 years since since we've been together. 5
Married.
I'm
married to my best friend. I'm married to the woman who makes me a better person every single day. And I wouldn't trade any moment with you for anything.
That is the sweetest thing to end on.
Thank you.
It is. And I was the one that was found. You found me. And you helped me a lot.
I mean, you were lost.
I was lost, and now I'm not. And I just, it's days when I know things are hard for me, because like I mentioned in the beginning, my depression's been everywhere.
And we've genuinely been sick, and then life threw things at us we couldn't control. Like there's been a lot of ups and downs in our lives lately.
But I know that I can tackle anything with you at my side. I really do know that. And that's why, like, 10 years. Shit. Like,
Crazy,
I can't, 5 years married and 10 years together, and it just kind of blows my mind. Like, holy shit. You're my forever.
Ditto.